Hello and welcome to Bounding Live. My name is John Trent. I'm the editor-in-chief at Bounding Into Comics, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Spencer Bakuli and Drew Taylor. We've got a pretty big show lined up for you today. We're going to talk about the latest Mandalorian rumors from YouTuber Doomcock. We're going to talk about the new Scarface rumors and also the new Peacemaker TV show for HBO Max. We're going to talk about that as well. So first, how are you guys doing? How are you guys doing today?
Ooh, pardon me. I'm doing well. Just excited to be back on stream. Excited to see you boys tonight.
Oh man, yeah. I kind of need this right now. I'm having pretty much a whale of a day. My mom's having some really harsh medical difficulties right now. I think she's like kind of starting down the road of dementia, and I'm pretty freaked out about that. So, I've kind of spent the day just trying to care for and comfort her and kind of coerce her into going to the doctor. But boy, like right now, she's very like combative, so it's a little. I'm running into a lot of resistance, but I'm trying, and we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But other than that, I am so thankful right now. You guys have no idea. I'm thankful for your company right now.
Yeah, we're glad to be here. I know I definitely am still praying for you and your mom. I know my wife's grandmother just had a battle with dementia. And it's not fun. It's a challenge, and it's really tough. But we're here for you. I see Father Christopher Miller saying that he's praying for you. Praying for you. Lopter is praying for you. Mark Lasurth is praying for you and your mom as well. So we're here to support you for sure.
Yeah, Father Christopher, just please pray that God sends me the guidance for what I'm supposed to do, because I'm in uncharted territory here, my friend.
Yeah, we'll definitely be doing that. But let's get on with some of the distraction of the show here for you. We'll go around the horn and we'll talk about kind of what we've been playing, what we've been watching, what we've been reading this week. Folks in the chat, please let us know what you have been reading, watching as well. This is kind of how we start out all of our shows, with stuff that we think that we have been enjoying and that we recommend, or stuff that we watched and we didn't think was good and we don't recommend it. So we'll be doing a little bit of that. So we'll start with Spencer.
Yeah, on my side, it's been a pretty busy week between this Wednesday and last Wednesday. But in my free time, my spare time, I have been
On my side, it's
my
between this Wednesday.
watch through of my not my watch through, my read through of Vinland Saga and Demon Slayer. I am pretty close to being done with Demon Slayer. I'm very, very, very far in Vinland Saga. I don't really want to say where I am in case anybody else is reading it. But again, I think everybody's heard me splurge about it. Everybody should read Vinland Saga. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's on my list after Goblin Slayer. I'll probably get I still need to finish. I still need to get all the My Hero stuff too.
Oh yeah.
So I have a lot to read, but yeah, no, Vinland Saga is definitely up there for something that I want to check out. But I do need to purchase. I need to get the Goblin Slayer stuff and then
you don't
finish that up.
Backlog. You want to get through it first.
Yeah. So anything outside of the anime? Have you been playing any video games?
Yeah, I haven't really been playing a lot of video games, but I did check out the Call of Duty Cold War Alpha that was this last weekend, the free-to-play Alpha, and it's pretty good, guys. It feels like old school Call of Duty again. Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, much better than all the crap we've been getting. And
Wait, those games are different? I thought they were all like the same. They were just like Madden, and it all has the same core concepts. It's a shooter, and
they basically are. There's just different guns you can use every time. But I'm excited for the actual Cold War story. I mean, I know it's going to be fiction, but I love that time period. I love all that.
I want President Reagan back.
Have they talked about kind of what they're going to be doing? I assume you're going to get like Vietnam, maybe, or
No, it's
Afghanistan.
the Reagan 80s, dude.
Yeah, I assume
Oh,
you're
it's
going to
Reagan 80s. Okay.
Yeah, I assume it'll have some Vietnam, and then maybe flash forward to like Iran, Contra, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say okay, Iran maybe. Yeah, all right. Maybe like Panama was the 90s, so that's a little afterwards,
that was
right?
After him.
Was there stuff in Nicaragua maybe?
Yeah,
right?
Nicaragua's his time too.
So they had
so that's probably a good bet.
Yeah, they had Ronald Reagan in the trailer, man. It was great.
I know, it set everybody off.
Is it just specific to the 80s, or are they gonna do stuff like? I mean, could they do Cuban Missile Crisis stuff too?
I'm sure all that's. I have no idea if they've even talked about how far the plot's going to go, but I feel like it would be such a missed opportunity if they didn't do something like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, Cold War stuff it could be really interesting. Father Christopher Miller is saying Panama was 89. That was close. 90s. 89. Yeah. Close.
It's
I was only. If it was 89, I was only one. So.
Oh God. Youngins.
Yeah. So I do see that Tahilium is saying Vinland Saga. He also echoes Vinland Saga. I need to work on reading the first volume. All right, you got to catch up on that one. Chris Neville says X of Swords is interesting so far. I asked Chris, do you have to read any of the other X-Men books beforehand? I know I've got I know Don and Phil recommended, where is it, House of X and Powers of X right up here, but I haven't really read any other X-Men outside of that. So I'd be interested to know if you can just jump in, or if you need to like read all the other stuff that happened beforehand. If so, I probably won't be checking that out.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's an X-Men book. You probably need to read 90 other issues.
Yeah. Father Christopher Miller is saying he just picked up The Orville Launch Day Part 1. Is that a novel? What is that?
Comic,
or is that a graphic novel? What is it? I don't know anything. That's new to me. I don't know about that. Mark Lesurth says he's watching The Boys and old Dark Shadows episodes. I think The Boys is on episode 5 now. I actually haven't watched any of season 2 yet.
Me neither. I think I'm going to wait for it all just to come out at once.
Yeah, it looks like the Orville thing is it's a book. It's pretty much like season 2.5.
Okay, so it's a novel. All right.
So it's kind of a filler in preparation for season 3.
Okay, so it's like it's a tie-in to the actual season 3. It's telling stories that lead up to it. Yes,
and it's actually weird to have some science fiction material that's considered canon that's actually being written.
That's a book, yeah, I was going to say.
I don't know, I feel like that's kind of what everyone does now. I mean, Doctor Who has all the canon comics now that come out. They did that whole, they're doing a whole, Doctor Who media crossover, similar to what Star Wars said they're going to do.
What Star Wars
High
tried
Republic.
to do back in the day?
Well, no, it's what they're it says what they're trying to do with High Republic, where it's it crosses over with comics, books, digital media,
all spread out everywhere.
Like that.
Yeah, I'm just jaded growing up during that whole Timothy Zahn saga, and it's like we'll only take Thrawn out of all of it. The rest of it's not canon.
I know, but I mean, at least we have Thrawn, kind of. I want the whole Glove of Vader storyline to come back. I like that story.
You think they would have at least kept Thrawn and Mara Jade out of all that stuff, but nah, that would have been complicated to have Luke have a chick.
Mara.
Didn't keep Mara Jade.
Love Mara.
Lopter says he's playing Skyrim Monster Legends, and he got 2 new monsters, Wicca and Corruptus. I saw up here earlier that Don said # don't ask about Dune. Well, that really requires us to ask about Dune, right? Did you? How far are you at now? I think last week you were 100 pages.
We were proud of you.
You had made it to Arrakis, so that was a good thing. Father Christopher Miller is saying it's a comic. It's a $3.99 comic, is what he's saying.
Yeah, that's great.
By Dark Horse. He said they had a few issues last year. That was a 2-part story. So I'm guessing is that what you were talking about, OC Steve?
Yeah, it's just the collection of all of them told in 3 different parts.
Okay. All right. Well, we will move on to Drew. What have you been playing?
Well, I know Sunday, when I did the our Twitch stream, I dipped into a little Madden, and and it was funny too. By the way, anybody that stopped by and watched that stream, I know I boomered part of it because I got up to get a drink and put the BRB screen up and left the BRB screen up on accident. So part of the stream was my BRB screen, but
Wow.
what we did see though, it was cool. I dipped into that a little bit and played a few head-to-head games on the stream, but I don't know. Other than doing that Sunday, I'm just kind of I'm looking forward to that thing. That wrote about the other day, John. The new
Deadlock.
the new content for the BSG game.
Yeah.
At some point, if I wind up doing some solo streams on the Twitch channel again, I will probably go through and do like a full playthrough of the campaign through all the chapters. So we'll do it like part by part, but I'll do that for you guys because it's a really cool story in that game, and if you're a BSG fan, it's going to be awesome. And that expansion that they're putting out is great, and them putting the Mercury class battle stars in the game is just that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I was looking at some of those screenshots. I was like, holy crap! Like the graphics on this are phenomenal. Really good.
It's a gorgeous looking game. It's just, it's one of those that's like not for everybody because like I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't like turn-based strategy or RTSs, things like that, and then there's a lot of people that do like RTSs. So it's take your pick, but it is at the end of the day an RTS, but to me, it's a fun game. I enjoy the story in it, and I don't play a lot of like online head-to-head on there or anything, against other people. But there is that option. You can go on and play against other players and go fleet against fleet. So,
all right, OC Steve, what have you been consuming, reading, watching?
A lot of my friends told me to avoid the Avengers like the plague video game wise. So I decided, just because of it's being problematic or just whatever, just a litany of problems with the game at launch. So I re-downloaded Batman Arkham Knight and replayed the bejesus out of that and had a lot of fun doing that because that has like all downloadable content now, and they added I think like
Robin and
all those companion side missions, but then also added the additional characters to the Rogues Gallery. So it's like a really comprehensive game by the time you sit down and play it. And then also my wife and I just waiting for stuff to come back. I mean, we watch The Boys now and then, since they decided to disperse it out in weekly tidbits.
Gosh, yeah.
That was stupid. You put out 3 episodes and now we're going to do it once a week. So now we can gain some weird form of interest, but you put all 8 seasons out in one gate in season 1. I don't understand that.
I think it's to keep people subscribed at least because if you do it all at once, you sign up for a day free trial and watch it and you're done. But if you
but I mean the catch-22 of it all is that most people have like the Mac Daddy Amazon once a year anyway, which comes with this. So it's like, I don't understand the logic behind it. I can see where if you're just buying the streaming service, but if you have Prime, then you already get it.
But not everybody has Prime. Lots of people have it, but it's not everybody, so they're still trying to grab that.
Yeah, in this day and age, with my wife being a nurse working from home and me working for a plumber, I try to eliminate as many places I can go. So if I can get my deodorant and I can get whatever she needs in 1 day shipping, I'm not going out. I don't want to deal with the general public. So I'll keep my Prime.
Okay, absolutely.
But the thing we're watching on Netflix right now is we got through a stint of watching Star Trek Enterprise. So we're checking that out with Captain Bakula.
Scott.
And it probably, like, me and my wife have debates that it's probably single-handedly like the most douchey opening credits song for a Star Trek show.
I think I can.
Oh God, yeah.
I haven't heard that one,
we
so I'll
never
have to-
skip it. Like we never skip it just because of how douchey it is. We want to act like we're in some like evangelical church holding our hands up.
There's a lot of people that, like, for whatever reason, they enjoy that opening song. That was like my least favorite. I remember Deep Space Nine's probably my favorite.
It's just funny because, like, other than if I'm not mistaken, where everybody does the intro, where they do, you know, Space, the Final Frontier, that whole bit. It's actually one of the few, to my knowledge, where it's actually like lyrics and a song sung by like
like
singer.
a theme song.
Yeah,
That is really weird for a Star Trek show. Now that you mention it,
it's just all kind of odd placed. And then they like you could tell that the ratings were plummeting near the end, so that's when they started to bring like the Next Generation guys back and have insert weak cameo like, oh hey, we're gonna have Brett Spiner on the show as Noonien Sung, like for no reason.
Yeah, Chris Neville is saying orchestrated is better for Star Trek. And Nano Reaper says it's still better than the Klutzman Trek.
gosh, anything is.
We do have a $5 super chat from Orville Nation. Congrats to the entire Bounding staff for consistently putting out such fabulous content.
Yeah, thank you, PJ.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. We were glad to continue to put out such fabulous content, and we will work hard to continue to do so. Did you watch anything else, or did you play anything else?
No, I mean, I'm just kind of sitting in content because, unfortunately, I did not have the odds in my favor to get a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X. So I'll be waiting in purgatory for the next few months until I can acquire either one of those systems, but I'll probably be leaning towards a PlayStation 5.
What is making you want to go out and get one of those systems right away?
Yeah.
Well, I've been an Xbox boy for a long minute. The last PlayStation I owned was a PlayStation 2, but the thing that really catches my eye about PlayStation 5 is like literally the insert disc backwards compatibility for a PlayStation 4 and those abilities to play those exclusive titles like Spider-Man and God of War and just, you know, Final Fantasy Remastered. Those are the things that really catch my eye. I know that a lot of people are waiting for content, but let's be honest, when consoles come out launch day, you know, literally day one, it's mostly just backwards compatible titles. Like everything we're going to get is not really that much night and day difference for PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X.
Right.
Or you just get a PC that's a really good gaming PC and say,
oh no, the head of administration and fun, aka Mrs. OC Steve, the computer days are over. There no more modding, tweaking, and spending obscene amounts of money on a graphics card. So once we came to the common reasoning that we'll just have fast internet and a decent game console, that was pretty much the armistice compromise of the video game wars.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat. I used to be hardcore PC gamer, and now it's a console, and you play when you get the chance.
I can't go back to console. It's just so much better gaming on a PC to me. And, you know, I mean, and if you even want to play with the controller, all you gotta do is just USB in a controller, and boom, you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you there, Drew. I wish I had the money right now for a gaming computer, but that's what I'm saving up for, a really nice one, because yeah, I don't really feel that strong for any of the consoles yet.
Well, it boiled down to the World of Warcraft or my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and I decided to stick with the wife. So
yeah,
that's a good choice.
Yeah,
Good choice
exactly.
I was waiting for the dude from like the Last Crusade to pop up and go, "You chose wisely."
That's an awesome scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the PS5, that does make sense. With all the backward compatibility, you still have all of the range of titles from the PS4. That does make sense to me. With the Xbox, you don't have that. There's no backward compatibility.
I mean, the thing is, I had an Xbox One, and most of the console titles I played were third party, and I really didn't play Halo. It never really interested me that much, playing like Super Space RoboCop.
Yeah, I'm a Halo guy.
And Gears of War, I thought should have ended at 3. They shouldn't have tried to continue that series. That was a great 3-act game, and there was no reason to do 4 and 5. It just felt like they were beating a dead horse by that point.
Yeah.
Same could be said.
I will say that I've never really been like a Microsoft guy. I've never owned an Xbox. Sony has, like, I've said this a lot of times. Sony has used to have all the Japanese games, and I play all the RPGs. That's like what I like. I like the RPGs, the JRPGs, and the SRPGs. And you couldn't get that with Microsoft or Xbox, but you could with Sony and the PlayStation. But now a lot of that stuff is coming out on the Switch, so I can play my Nintendo now, and I don't know. I mean, I like them both. I do think for me, my PlayStation now, like, I have to pick and choose what games I want on it because I don't really have an external hard drive hooked up for it.
Yeah, and everything is a million gigabytes these days.
Yeah, it's like I think Final Fantasy 15 is like 80 gigs. Like, so basically, you can't really have a lot of other games on there.
Well, I think Warzone for Call of Duty was like the thing that was absurd. Yeah. I think they had like over 120 gigs.
That was insane download apparently.
Yeah. So if you want to play one game one night and then maybe like pick another game, you might have to like uninstall the other game to install, and then you have that like long install games, and then they want to do the updates for everything. It just takes a long time. So I guess that's probably the big reason why I would want to maybe do a PS5. It's not like something that I really need to do right now, because I have my Switch, and my PS4 is, I'm playing like Skyrim, which was a PS3 game. So,
I got Cyberpunk to carry me over until the consoles are in like bulk, and it's just easy to walk into your regular Best Buy and just point I want that, and let them get all the kinks out of it. Because I'm sorry, like, I once bitten, twice shy when it came to the Xbox 360 and that red ring of death that I had for 2 of them.
I've had so many of them.
Alexander Vidakovich is saying there are no more good JRPGs. I disagree.
There are.
Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch is one of the best games I have ever played. It was a PS3 game. I think they just actually remastered it for PS4 and the Switch. If you have not played that, I highly recommend playing that. The gameplay is fantastic. It also is an absolutely gorgeous game. The studio that does it is Studio Ghibli. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It might be Ghibli. But they're like obviously known for all of those beautiful, gorgeous anime films. So I mean, and the game is looks wonderful. Gameplay is great. Highly recommend that. That was probably the last like really, really great JRPG that I played. The follow-up I enjoyed that too. Radically different game, different style of gameplay, but I also I liked some of that gameplay. It added a little bit more of the strategy elements into it, but it definitely was not on par with the first Wrath of the White Witch. But if you haven't played Wrath of the White Witch and you like JRPGs, I definitely recommend getting it for your PlayStation 4 or your Nintendo Switch.
Well, that's the whole reason. Another game I want to get because of the backwards compatibility is that Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Which looked like, honestly, it looked like an Assassin's Creed that they'll never be able to make, or at least be on par with, because I know that's the one that Assassin's Creed game that everybody's jonesing for, is the ability to play a ninja during feudal Japan.
Well, they're not even making Assassin's Creed games anymore. I mean, I was playing Odyssey that I got as a gift a couple weeks ago, and it's literally just it's Skyrim with an Assassin's Creed skin on it, and then you don't even get like the hidden blades or any of the stuff that's makes it Assassin's Creed. There aren't even like there's like you hide in the bushes, but there's no like real missions where there's like where you actually have to like stealth kill someone and then get away without being noticed, which they used to have in like the Ezio games, and then who's the original one? Altair, the first one. Yeah, it's a
or just like those multiple kills where you can jump in a pit and kill like 20 dudes without even flinching.
Yeah, it's more. I mean, honestly, it plays more like the original God of War games, except that it's like third person. So, because you're just, I mean, that's really what you're playing. You're playing like a buffed up character that just goes around and like kills everyone. It doesn't really have to worry about like getting whacked.
Well, and that's
Especially
kind of
if
how
you
like
get like 40 minutes in.
that's how the new one like Valhalla feels. It's like, okay, it's literally the exact same game as Odyssey, but we're just gonna skin it with Viking stuff.
No, yeah, I that's what it looks like. It's literally instead of they're actually like, okay, so we did Odyssey, we did our Skyrim skin with Odyssey. We're gonna actually like do Skyrim now. Like that's I think what they're trying to do.
Like a real Skyrim.
It's
Except
like
you don't get like the magic system or anything like that.
it's like going to witness like an '80s cover band and like listening to The Power of Love versus like listening to Huey Lewis and the News do it, and you're like, it's there, but it's just not the same.
Right.
Yeah, Tahili Missing plus Layla Hassan, Such a Mary Sue. I mean, maybe I'm not far enough in with Odyssey because I literally haven't been following the actual main storyline. I'm just going around and killing the Cult of Cosmos people, which I assume are like supposed to be the Templar. Like that, they don't even have Templars and Assassins in Odyssey.
Yeah, that's the worst part about it.
So
Well, and then the real time like storyline as you get further into it, it's like there's really not that kind of traditional animus, which is like their cornerstone, and some of the characters are actually immortal, which comes into like weird play into it, and you're like, okay, they haven't done that in Assassin's Creed yet.
Yeah, it makes it supernatural where it wasn't really supernatural at all. It was more...
They had the supernatural stuff with Desmond in like the Ezio stuff, where you had the
artifacts.
Remember he sees like the
end of Assassin's Creed 1, he sees like the writing on the like the special glowing stuff on the wall.
Well, yeah, maybe I'm thinking of 3, maybe because at 3 is where he actually like communicates with like one of the quote unquote Greek gods, and I thought Ezio did
isn't that the one where he dies?
Yeah,
he dies in 3.
Yes,
but I also thought Ezio communicates with someone in Rome as well. He communicates with like
Desmond. There is a moment in Brotherhood where Desmond actually and then Desmond and Ezio share talking to, I think it's one of the Demeter or Demona, like one of the ancient
Demeter or Athena or something like that. Yeah.
So they're both talking to her at the same time, out of time.
So they had that a little bit, and who knows if like I thought those were people who had all like they like digitized themselves or something. Was the kind of explanation? But now there's like actual like immortals that are still alive during like current time. Okay, wow.
Yeah. And they're really jumping the shark with that.
And they're the ones running Stergos or whatever the company is.
So yes.
Okay.
So speaking of companies, though, what Spencer mentioned, we didn't get a chance. I don't know if we're going to touch on it, but we will like super quick. Like, so Microsoft acquired Bethesda, and everybody's going to wonder now what's going to happen. Well, apparently, I know today when I had like a brief moment to browse news, I know IGN said that Bethesda is still going to run like kind of like semi-autonomous, even though Microsoft now owns them, simply because I don't think Microsoft wants to mess with stuff that isn't broken, and they're going to continue to let Bethesda do their thing.
That isn't broken. What? Fallout 76.
Yeah, well,
broken. Talk about broken.
Yeah, for real. Fallout 4.
A gentle guiding hand.
So I'm talking about their process, but I mean,
Bethesda and the term "not broken" should never be uttered in the same sentence.
Well, but we probably might just get like exclusive solely for the Xbox One now. Like probably the main third-party titles will stay the same, but I would assume like if you get an Xbox One, you might get some more exclusive content or DLCs, or we might even get like Fallout New Vegas solely for the Xbox Series X.
I'm thinking any unannounced stuff will be exclusive. It'll be like Spider-Man with Sony.
No Skyrim for PS5.
Well, I know.
I think they've already announced that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's already a distribution deal in place for that with Sony. So that might be hard to renege on.
Yeah,
but I would think moving forward, that would be exclusive.
You're probably right.
Well, the way that the article read, apparently that they will still have like some third-party stuff and whatnot, so they're not going to be completely exclusive. Microsoft is just going to kind of, it's like Steve said, they'll be like the quote unquote gentle guiding hand, but they're not going to be like all hand in the cookie jar. At least that's what they're saying. Don in the chat, he says it's BS.
I think that's BS too. I mean, anytime you have a company buy another company, they cut the fat, they let it go, they do meddle. I mean, look at what's happening with Warner Media and AT&T. Look what Disney did with Fox. I mean, that's just what happens when corporations buy other big corporations.
Well, I think
they cut it all out. Then they also they usually will probably put their own person in charge, and then they have their own way. So yeah, they might be saying that to try and calm the panic that the employees might be having.
After the flack that Bethesda got for Fallout 76, this is kind of, I know some people said this is almost like a bailout for Bethesda.
It could be. I mean, it could be.
Because they were publishing Doom, and Doom was doing gangbusters.
Yeah, Doom did.
Yeah, well. I mean, they've had some hit and misses. I mean, I think Elder Scrolls Online is doing
bad either.
Yeah, I've heard Elder Scrolls Online is doing well. They've got the mobile app. I know people like to rag on those mobile apps, but I think those mobile apps make more. I think those mobile apps might make more money than some of those AAA games do. I would not bet against that.
Yeah, they do a lot.
So I mean, you look at top grossing. I think that Elder Scrolls game is in the top 50 for top grossing RPGs. At least you can. I don't know if you can do that on an iPhone, but you can on Android. You can do top grossing, and I think it's just the top grossing games for RPGs on mobile, and it's on there.
It'll probably be. I would say the safe bet would be is that they'll honor the agreements that they have on paper, but once those dates are done in the dirt, in the dust, that's when we'll start seeing more exclusive titles to Xbox Series X.
Yeah, I think in 5 years, you'll definitely see exclusives from Bethesda for sure.
Skyrim is the 19th best-selling game of all time.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because it's one of the greatest.
It's been on every console.
On everything. So yeah, I'm going to buy it again and again, of course. Because it's better with each release.
And it's really good too. So.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right, so I haven't really talked about what I was playing. I mentioned a little bit of stuff. I still was playing a little bit of Skyrim here and there when I was able to. I did just see. I got an ad actually. I don't know where I saw it, but I think I was probably just scrolling on my phone, and I saw an ad for this new Atlas game called 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. So I think I'm gonna pick that up. It's from Atlas and Vanillaware.
I just saw that today too. I'm super interested in that.
I saw someone describe it as Persona 5 meets Pacific Rim. So yeah, sign me up for that.
Hell yeah.
The only thing I was trying to find was what the actual gameplay looked like, because the story looks pretty good, but I was trying to figure out what the gameplay is. But I think I'm gonna get it.
I don't think it's a platformer.
No, it does not look like a platformer. It looks like it's some kind of JRPG type turn-based game potentially, which I'm hoping for. Which I think. Oh yeah, talking about JRPGs, Persona 5. Fantastic.
5, Dragon Quest 11. I forgot to mention that. That game.
Yeah, I have Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest, the Ultimate Edition for the Switch.
Yeah,
I think.
Oh my God, it's one of the best JRPGs in games.
So good. It also proves that you don't have to have these ridiculously stupid complex combat systems like Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 15. You can keep your tried and true turn-based system and have an excellent game because that combat system works. People have no problems with it. I literally try and find games that don't have these insane complex systems that just really.
Everything has that warp now, John. The warp.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Just give me my tried and true traditional turn-based.
Let me select magic. Let me select my spell. And let me cast it.
Yeah, and I have time to think about what targets I want to attack. I have to strategize on what type of weapon I'm going to use or magic I'm going to use. Final Fantasy Tactics is great at that. Obviously, that's not It's not traditional JRPG turn-based, but you have all of that. You have the complexity in the class system. whereas you can still like keep your combat simple. So like I'm
Yeah,
totally fine with like complexity outside of the you can have like we were talking about this I think last week. Final Fantasy VII Remake has the complexity in how you use the materia, but the combat is still
like straightforward.
Yeah, straightforward and quite simple. Like don't get hit, cast spells where the character is weak,
and then attack.
Yeah, and then attack. Alexander is saying Yuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. This is game in development from authors of Suikoden series. Ooh, and Kickstarter doing good. Something for John to look forward to. Yeah, Suikoden. I like Suikoden.
Yeah, Suikoden's great.
So yeah, I'll have to check out Yuden Chronicle. I saw Square Enix has something as well. Looks like it's going to be a classic JRPG that's going to be out on the Switch in November. The name is right now is escaping me. But I heard I think the demo is out and you can play that, and it looks quite interesting. I don't remember what it was called. I'll have to look it up here. But as far as things that I've been reading, I have not really read anything at all. I'm slacking on that stuff. I need to get back into doing some more reading. I haven't read any comics whatsoever, really.
Yeah, you've been a busy man.
Yeah. Let me see here. No, I'm still not seeing it. You would think if you search Square Enix Switch games, it would like show up, but no. I'm trying to think. What else have I? Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been reading anything at all. I did watch that Enola Holmes today, right before the stream. I do not recommend that. Was
it extra wokey?
I mean, it definitely had a feminist slant to it, but it was feminism as far as suffragettes in early 20th century London. Which it also shows that they were not afraid to use terrorist activities to get their way, which was interesting to see that. Which that actually did happen. Suffragettes in London did commit terrorist acts.
It almost seemed like everybody who's like a top billing player in like the BBC scene was kind of involved one way or another in that, because you also had Helena Bonham Carter playing Sherlock Holmes's mom.
Yeah, she played Sherlock's mom. And she was an actual terrorist. Yeah, I'm giving it away, sorry. But yeah, she's like a suffragette terrorist. But yeah, no, so like the whole film is supposed to be about Enola trying to find her mom, because she just like all of a sudden like leaves in the middle of the night. And but then like it like detours into trying to save this like young lord who is going to have the main vote for a reform bill that will do something for women in London. And then like so it totally gets sidetracked from her like trying to find her mom. And yeah, it was just really
direction.
Yeah, it was really just really odd. It didn't flow really well. I think my wife and my sister-in-law described it as something that would be really entertaining for a 10-year-old on the Disney Channel.
That's what it looks like, honestly.
So,
or you could just go back and watch young Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, or you could watch The Great Mouse Detective.
So good.
Yeah. So that's I don't recommend that unless you want to watch it. If you have a 10-year-old, maybe you might want to watch that with them. What else did I watch? There was something else that I watched recently.
Dude, the fact that you're getting all this done while still with like an infant, is a little like amazing.
Oh, well,
or is sleep the mind killer, so to speak, to harken back to Dune?
I mean, she's actually like so Georgiana's been really good. She only wakes us up like twice during the night, and then she goes back to sleep right away. It's like because she's hungry. You feed her, you change her diaper, you feed her, and then you put her back to sleep. And it takes about like 30-45 minutes. But I'm not working on I can't help on the feeding process. So my job is done. after I change the diaper, so I can I just kind of like go right to sleep again. And then she'll wake us up again like 3-4 hours later, and then the process repeats itself again. But yeah, I mean, being able to watch stuff I just have her in my arms, or my wife has her in her arms, and she's there watching with us, and she's either asleep or looking at us. So they're not. So with an infant, when she's crying, it's either because she's got a dirty diaper or she's hungry. So you know how to respond to that, and you just get it done. But otherwise, she's just she'll look at you with her eyes wide open. And then we started doing tummy time, but you only usually do that for 3-5 minutes at a time, a day, and so that's to help her to start getting to crawl, exercising her arms and legs. So.
Right.
I still can't find what this Square Enix game is called.
You were prepared for fatherhood then, because between a Tamagotchi and a Pokemon, you were ready to go.
Right.
Yeah, I guess. I do think that's a little understating it a little bit.
Hey man, I stick in the uncle category. I get them all juiced up on caffeine and sugar and amped up from a movie, and then I give them back to you guys, and it's your problem.
Yeah, then it's your guys' fault, or situation to deal with.
No, we haven't really had. She's been great. So,
that's awesome.
She's actually starting to sleep a lot longer during the night. Sometimes it can be 5-6 hours, which is really nice.
I don't have a baby, but it's like having a baby around. That's how much I sleep.
But yeah, no, it's I'm able to play when she's in my arms or whatever, sleeping. So, you just manage it.
Life finds a way.
Yeah.
See, there you go, John. You need to have these dad geek life hacks. There you go. There's some content right there.
Yeah. Or I have a bouncer right here. That we can put her in, strap her in, and vibrates and simulates a car. So she's.
Is it getting that rough that you already had to hire a bouncer?
Yeah, we're trying to keep the mailmen away. They're always trying to leave packages and stuff.
I just figured the kid was getting out of hand.
Yeah, that's at least a year and change away. Before
I don't know anymore with these new babies. These new babies could be advanced. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
No, so
Velociraptor babies.
Once she starts to crawl, that's when things are gonna be a lot more troublesome, and that's probably when I won't be having as much time to watch stuff or be able to play. Because then I'll be acting as the bouncer or the gatekeeper, trying to corral her so she doesn't get where she can't go.
Wait till the terrible twos hit, dude.
We'll see.
She sounds like she's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
She's great right now. I'm the worrisome part is when they become teenagers, right?
Yeah, dude.
Why didn't somebody tell me there was a Backdraft 2?
Yeah.
There is
a Backdraft 2?
Yeah, there is.
Tom is literally going to the Walmart bargain basement for content.
Yeah, he is.
I just only learned about it now because of the soundtrack. William Baldwin is in it.
Yeah.
And Donald Sutherland.
How did you even come across the soundtrack?
Because I go to my places to get my soundtracks.
Oh, for After Dark, right?
Just in general, but yeah, I've always went to. It's called Entrada. They're a little they do all kinds of random soundtracks for stuff, new, old, everything. But I didn't know there was a Backdraft too. I didn't mean to detour the conversation. But
that'd just be funny that out of all the things that you guys do, you get copyright striked for Backdraft 2.
William Baldwin.
I'm sure they need
Donald Sutherland.
Yeah,
Reaper says he didn't realize there was a Karate Kid 3.
Yeah.
Who?
In the chat, Nano Reaper.
I vaguely remember, Tom. I think I saw that movie, and it was not good.
I've seen every damn Tremors movie there is.
Okay. Yeah.
I did figure out what the game is called. It's called Bravely Default 2, and actually looks really good. So I'll probably be picking that up for my Switch. All right, let's get into what do we want to start with? Do you want to start with Mando rumors, Scarface?
You guys haven't even
rumors?
started yet?
No, we've still been going through what we've been watching, which we do.
Wow.
For the first
That was
half an hour.
late.
I delayed it
Yeah.
intentionally with my ADD just to spare you time to get on, Tom.
Aw, you're so sweet. I haven't really been watching a whole lot of anything, so.
Yeah, I guess. Do you want to go ahead and say what you've been? I mean, I guess you kind of just did, but.
Well, I mean, yeah, I watched. What did I watch? Oh, The One and Only Ivan is being the only newer thing I watched. It wasn't horrible.
What is that about?
It's on the Disney Plus. It was one that was supposed to be in theaters. It's got
right, okay.
What's his face from Breaking Bad in it? What's his name?
The guy from Godzilla, like they kill him off halfway through.
Yeah, that guy.
Eisen. What is this? Eisen something.
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan
Bryan
Cranston.
Cranston, yes.
Sam
And then-
Rockwell's in it,
And then Sam Rockwell does a voice, and Danny DeVito does. Yeah, it was a
Okay.
cute kids movie.
Is it an animated film?
No,
Oh, it's okay.
but it's got CGI talking animals in it, though.
Okay.
Angelina Jolie is the voice of Stella the elephant.
Is she really? No, I didn't
Yeah.
even notice that. Okay.
It was released in France on August 12th.
All right, so let's get into this. We'll skip we'll wait for we'll do the rumors last. Let's do the Peacemaker TV show. So I want to start this off. When I heard this announcement, my first reaction was that films are now marketing tools for for the streaming services. Because we're seeing this with like Dune. Dune is having that spin-off Bene Gesserit TV show. Marvel kind of started this wave with all the Marvel shows that are coming out on Disney Plus. Wouldn't be surprised if they might copy that with Star Wars as well. And it looks like HBO Max is getting into it as well with the announcement of this Peacemaker origin series that's going to be a prequel to the Suicide Squad.
So with that in mind, I honestly think that him and like probably a third of that cast are gonna be killed within like the first 5 minutes.
Oh man, you're probably right.
Like they're gonna step on a claymore and you're gonna lose like a third of that cast that was at DC Fandom.
Just like they did to what's his name in the first Suicide Squad.
Like how they did to The Rock in the Reno 911 movie.
Oh yeah, or The Rock in the other guys.
Yeah. Rock and Sam Jackson jumping off the side of that building.
Yep, there goes my hero.
Yeah, they're gonna get killed by what's that? The starfish.
Starro?
Starro. That's it. Yes, Starro. Because the theory is that Starro is the main villain because you see the little starfish in that behind-the-scenes footage that was released during Fandom a month ago. Yeah, I wouldn't be. I think you're kind
hard streaming service because I mean you can't see John Cena. You literally can't see me.
That's why they put the helmet on him, so you.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I do agree with you. I think that he'll probably die. I mean, they have a huge cast, so I expect most of them will die. It is the Suicide Squad, after all, and you have a bunch of like no-name DC Comics characters like Polka Dot Man and what's Sean Gunn's character? Javelin.
Javelin's being played by Flula Borg.
And what's his name? Pete Davidson's character. I'm so positive he's dead.
Yeah.
And then you also know, too, anytime Michael Rooker's in a James Gunn film, it's a good chance he's going to die.
Yeah, he's probably toast.
He did survive the first Guardians, though. But yeah, Michael Rooker, yeah. I love his performance in Days of Thunder as Rowdy Gaines.
Yeah, dude.
We need a Days of Thunder sequel for sure. I don't know how well it would do. I don't think NASCAR's as popular as it was back then, though.
I would watch it.
But yeah, so this is what we got on Twitter from James Gunn. I'm over the moon excited to be working on Peacemaker, my pals John Cena and the Suicide Squad producer Peter Safran on this new HBO Max original series. In a press release, he added, Peacemaker is an opportunity to delve into current world issues through the lens of this superhero villain and world's biggest douchebag. I'm excited to... Yeah, do you want to kind of break that up? I mean, I mean, when you're saying that you're going to delve into current world issues, that's almost a what do they like to say? A dog whistle. I hate that term though. That's such a dumb term. I mean, to me, it just signals that it's a virtue signal that the show is going to be woke and it's going to be preaching to you.
And that's the problem too, is that I 100% agree with you, and the fact that Gunn is saying like we get to see the current world through the lens of the douchiest superhero, that makes me think it's just going to be a lot of the same easy orange man bad crap we've been getting for the last 5 years. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be something like The Boys where you actually have like some legitimate criticism about like massive corporations and the immoral behavior that those corporations have breeds into the society and affects the superheroes that are part of that society, which the first season of The Boys did kind of bring that up. I don't think you're going to see anything like maybe that smart when you're saying that you're going to delve into current world issues through the lens of.
This just seems like it's going to be like the real life Harley Quinn, because I can't watch that animated series to save me, even if you tried to pay me to watch it. The minute I saw them do that like off weird joke with the cancer gun, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, really? We're jumping the shark with this?
I think I watched the first episode of the second season, and it was just absolute trash because I only watched it to like fact check a story.
That and Kelly Kawako trying to do the Harley Quinn voice is like literally nails on a chalkboard to me.
If it's not Harley,
Roof Korean 92 says sounds a lot like self-deprecating anti-American TV. Yeah,
my bigger question though is to everybody in the panel is because of obviously with Disney and Marvel as a whole delaying their slate for another fiscal year. Do you think that they went back to James Gunn at Warner Brothers and created this opportunity because they know that he's not going to probably be touching Guardians anytime too soon?
Actually, they get to that in the press release here. So if we get down here, you guys are always asking questions that we're going to get to. Where does it say it here? It says the series will explore blah, blah. Yeah, so production on the show is expected to begin sometime in early 2021 before Gunn begins working on the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie. That's in the press release from HBO Max, Warner Media. So he's doing it before Guardians of the Galaxy, before he even goes into production on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, just because I know that they moved their entire slate of releases, like, the next year.
They moved their movie stuff, and I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? But they did. But WandaVision.
Isn't that Black Widow's May? Eternals is July of next year, and then Shang-Chi is like in November of next year.
We'll see if that even actually happens. I mean, I think Tom probably has a different opinion on this, but I just don't think people are really care about going to the movies anymore.
I'm down on this one.
I just think people are fine. They've found other things to do.
And they've found
alternatives.
They've seen like Trolls World Tour and everything coming out at home, and so why go back? Why pay the big prices?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how well these. We're like the executives are coming out and saying that these PVOD films are doing well. So what's to say that they aren't? Something for like I think I saw someone saying that I forget who. It was a headline. They were saying that like the mid-budget film. I think it was Affleck who was saying this actually. That like mid-budget films would suffer. I'm not sure if that's true. I think it's going to be the big-budget films because I'm not sure if you can actually make what you could make in the theaters on PVOD. I think Mulan, Don is mocking it right here, but Mulan made so much money. But I'm thinking that the big-budget films like Mulan might be suffering more than these like smaller budget films that can go on PVOD and maybe make a little bit more money than they might have in theaters. Something like I don't know, like some of these like smaller films that I don't remember what it like Trolls World 2 that isn't like a huge big budget film.
I would still count that a big budget.
I would still count Trolls as a big.
Okay.
You're thinking of like Bill and Ted.
Yeah, Bill and Ted. Yeah, I think Bill and Ted. Yeah, is probably more along that line.
The difference though here is if Bill and Ted had actually been in theaters, it may have been a different story. The problem here is the like AMC and all them would not carry Bill and Ted because it was on demand at the same time. So we never know.
Right.
But like, I mean, look at how people were anxious to get out to see Tenet though. I mean, it did okay so far. I mean, it's not doing horrible to my knowledge. I mean,
no,
I thought it bombed. Let's look it up.
It's doing well for what it is, but it's affecting the theaters because the theaters are losing money in their operating costs versus what they're bringing in.
Well, I think this started at the beginning of the year too, when initially Universal announced that they were going to do Trolls 2 on streaming, and that was the first time where AMC's like, well, if you do that, then we're pulling all your movies from our theaters.
I love when Script Doctor was here. He always describes that whole saga hilariously.
So, yeah, $250 worldwide on a $224 million budget. That's not good.
That is not
horrible. And only $36 million from domestic. That's worse than Warcraft. Warcraft did like 40. I only know that because I just did the rumor.
Yeah, but you got to factor in we're in the middle of a pandemic as well.
Well, I understand that, but still, that's what I'm saying. People aren't going out to see it. In the United States, at least 36 million.
I think that in the areas that they are open and theaters are open, they are, and like the drive-ins are doing pretty well. Like people want to get the fuck out of their house. Like, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you there. The numbers. Those numbers don't lie though. People just aren't going to see Tenet. They're probably just doing something else outside their home. They're not going to see Tenet, at least. And I'm not sure if they're going to go see other films either.
Everybody took their yearly income for movies and just literally invested it into those pre-orders for.
The problem is we won't know until we get something like a Black Widow or a Wonder Woman, something that we should know
Dune.
What it normally would be. Yeah, something. Well, even Dune is hard to say.
Yeah, I would say Dune's a little harder to. There's a harder gauge there.
But yeah, you're a tentpole, a true tentpole, whereas Tenet is more of a possible, like a.
It's a spectacle film. A lot of people are already invested in his line of work, and it's really weird to get somebody that's just going to go, I'm just going to go watch Tenet. You've usually watched another one of a Nolan film somewhere here or there.
But basically, like the benchmark has been kind of set for these superhero movies at $1 billion. So if something like Black Widow comes out and only does $400 or $500 million altogether, then they've lost half the theater going audience pretty much.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why Disney is sitting on these movies and just moving it a year.
Well, not just that, they have to.
Yeah, they have no choice. They're kind of screwed.
There's several factors. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's actually kind of get into that, because I would argue that the point that I'm making is one of the reasons why they probably did delay, because they're not seeing people go to the Tenet shows that people aren't willing to go to the theaters now. I think in California there's still which is a huge market. Are they even allowing people to go to the theaters in California?
Very
in New York City.
It's like
it's on a county per county basis. We got this crazy color coded system, but if your county's in a certain color at a certain level of saturation for a weekly amount of infection, then you get downgraded, and then they let you reopen so many different kinds of bodies and institutions. So select counties right now have movie theaters that's a limited capacity.
Okay. Yeah, so you have that issue too, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that, Tom? Do you think that maybe that's one of the? You said there's multiple factors, but I definitely think the fact that people don't seem to be going to movie theaters in North America would be one of the reasons why.
Well, yeah, you have a sporadic openness. Like there's certain areas, like you were just talking, like California, in most areas, they're not open at all, and that's one of the biggest markets in the U.S. The same thing I'm assuming for like New York and Chicago. I know Chicago just like Illinois, they just enlisted a bunch of more rules because I was just listening to that on the radio. So like it's one of those things. The longer the shit drags on, we're going to see some more smaller mid-level movies make their way to POV, but or POD or whatever you call it.
PVOD, I think is the
PVOD or whatever the hell it is. I don't know.
POD is a band.
PPUD, I don't know.
POD.
POD, yeah, POS. No, but like the problem you have here is not just the money factor; it's the they have like licenses and everything. Like you go to see a Doritos bag with Wonder Woman on it.
Right.
There's a lot of license deals that are done to where these companies are going to expect specific things. Where unless you can get around a lot of loopholes, and even with the theaters, like they may not have a deal with the theaters for some of the smaller mid-level movies, but they definitely do for things like Black Widow, and stuff like that. So they can't just dump it onto Disney Plus and not expect any kind of backlash. Same thing like they did with Trolls. Like you still have this problem that we haven't been able to figure out yet whether or not a movie like Avengers can actually make it on video on demand yet. Like that's the problem we have here, and the studios really they may not be able to test that out yet because of those kind of license deals.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think Mulan might have been the test, though, right?
Yeah, but
because you think they would have had those
for-
deals with Mulan, right?
$30 for one movie at home.
Well, and that's where I was warning everybody is what's going to happen is as we go along here, sure, it's going to start out $30, $35, $40. Before you know it, we're going to be paying $100 to see the next Star Wars movie or the next Avengers movie. It's going to get insane.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, if you're paying for Disney Plus, because for Mulan, right, you had to pay for Disney Plus, which is what, $12 a month or something like that,
And then
$6 a month. So
And
$6
then you
plus,
paid
and
an
then you have to.
additional $30 for the privilege of watching Mulan.
Yeah, so you're already paying $36 for just to watch Mulan. I mean, I mean that's a little too high. I was not interested in Mulan, so I wasn't going to pay that. I did pay $20 to watch this really super indie film called Fatima, and we watched that. And I thought it was worth the money. So I think there's like it just depends on your interest and what you want to watch for the price point. $100 seems really, really high. I don't know if they're going to go that high. That just I don't know. I'm not buying the $100 there.
Well, if they figure that on average, the nuclear family in America is a family of 4, they're going to determine the cost of going to 4 tickets at an evening show.
That's the thing I'm saying is you got to stop and remember, like when a family of 4 goes to see a movie, that's 4 heads. That's $10-$20 a pop. If you got 10 people sitting at home watching Trolls 2, that's a lot of money that Universal left on the table. Don't think they ain't taking these kind of things into consideration. Like that's the problem you have. And then not only that, you have the other problem is as soon as the movie is digital somewhere, it's on the Pirate Bay. There's no getting around it. So like you went and cut whatever percentage off your top of your, whatever few people you would have gotten to go who are now just going to wait to download it instead.
See, I don't know. I don't really buy the piracy argument. I think the music industry has proven that wrong. I think the anime industry proves that.
Here's the thing. When you're coming on like bigger movies, yes, there's no real impact. But don't tell me it doesn't have an impact on things like Troll 2 and Bill and Ted when they're on digital. It did. It definitely did.
When they're digital only, yeah, I can see.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah,
because you don't get that. You're not getting that same effect, when you pirate an anime or a movie or a CD, and you're like, oh, I like this. I'm gonna go see it in theaters and bring my friends, or I'm gonna go see a concert, yada yada. You don't have that secondary market for them to.
That's the other thing there. Exactly, the secondary market's gone.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I guess what I'm saying is like I'm not sure how big that plays. I'm not saying it doesn't play a role. I'm just curious. I'm just
not in the smaller mid-level movies,
yeah.
no, but the bigger movies it will eventually. Like you'll see this shift. Like now, stuff like downloading hurts movies that are, like Bill and Ted and stuff like that. But then come around later on, it will start to hurt movies like Avengers when they're not getting the number of people to watch as they used to. And Hollywood won't quit making. They won't quit making movies for the amount of money they spend now. Is my point. They'll take the money out on us. And that's where I keep saying the theaters right now are kind of like this buffer between us and them. And as soon as they can get our
Disney World,
yeah, and as soon as they cannot get their hands directly into our pockets, like Disney did with Disney Plus, what did they do? They're like, "Oh, that $40, you don't need that."
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I don't underestimate the power of greed with these corporations because I think they're consumed by it.
Especially.
I do think they're consumed by it. So, but I mean, $100. I don't know. Since they started at 30, I think it'll take a little bit to get to 100. But I guess you're trying to convince me that it's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's at least going to be about like $50 because they're going to do it at like about $15 a person for the average family of 4, and that's going to be kind of their benchmark.
Yep. Probably, I would say the $50 range. $49.99 is going to become that new number we hear all the time. Because I mean, even back in the rental days, videotapes used to cost over $100 sometimes for rental.
I just think when I hear $49.99, I'm just like, that's like what a month of Verizon Fios is for their basic package, pretty much in this area. So that's just that's great. You're paying for one single like 2-hour piece of content. You're paying for your
think about what you
access.
pay now for a Blu-ray, what you pay for a DVD. You know, I mean,
$20.
Yeah, that's why the video game market's going to boom in the advent of all this stuff with going on VOD. Because if you use that analytic, if you go, okay, my time is 2.5 hours and it's $20. If I'm getting a $70 game, as long as I get 10 plus hours out of it, that's more content than this one movie.
That's or if you play Skyrim, you get like 100 plus or more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get better storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
All right, but let's get back a little bit to this Peacemaker thing. I know if we had Script Doctor here, I'm pretty sure he would be saying this is counting your chickens before the eggs have hatched.
Oh,
He always has said never do a sequel before your actual film has been released and you get a reaction to it. But that does seem to
unless you're making Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Yeah, right. Or something like
seriously back the Brinks truck up to the Cena estate.
Yeah, or something like Dune, I guess, where you're splitting the film into two.
Lord of the Rings way.
Yeah, or Harry Potter.
It's more Harry Potter.
The only thing I can think of is that they're tapping into the built-in audience he has from, all the people that follow him from his WWE career. So he's going to have that regardless. He's going to have that following that watches anything he's in.
Bumblebee sucked though.
It took me a long time to get around to watching Bumblebee, but I was like, John Cena is not a horrible actor, and I remember The Rock did some real grade A turds like the Tooth Fairy, Escape to Witch Mountain.
No, I don't. I think Cena's a good actor. I thought he just had horrible direction in that film.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It was obvious that he was being directed to play that character a certain way, and it did not do well. Yeah.
I mean, if he's given the right material, I agree with you, John. I think he's a good actor. He could be like a major action star if they did the stuff right. And
surprised he isn't yet, honestly.
Yeah.
If they did it kind of like, his character in the original Marine, where he was like, like patriotic ex-Marine, looking to kind of, be the hero, that kind of role works for him. When you start getting him in stuff like where, he plays an uncomfortable douchebag or he's trying to be woke, that doesn't go over.
Well, honestly, I'm going to tell you right. I mean, I agree with Script Doctor, like you don't count your chickens before you hatch kind of thing. But you know what? I think they're trying to copy Disney Plus and they're doing it right. In a way, like, like people got on board, it seems like this last week for the most part with WandaVision once they saw the trailer. Like, because, they're lesser known characters. Like, nobody knows who this character is. But guess what? He's in the movie that's coming out. So, like, instead of us getting, like, Agents of fucking S.H.I.E.L.D., we're actually getting a character that's in the movie. People know John Cena.
And it will be connected.
Yeah, and it will be connected. And that's my point. Like, so you're actually, like, this is, like, what a lot of people have been saying. Like, you know what? All these years we've had the Avengers, we could have had a Hawkeye and Black Widow TV show, probably.
We could
or at least a Hawkeye TV show. They could have afforded to get Jeremy Renner to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what the hell is wrong with them sometimes over there? I don't get it. I mean, I'm looking forward to some of the stuff they're doing now, but for years, it's like they've been wasting their time over there at Marvel with the television side of things, while DC's been kicking ass on TV with CW, whether you like it or not.
Right.
And now they're just basically doing to them what Disney did to Warner for years, but only better, it seems like, in a lot of ways. So, I mean, I'm kind of interested in seeing how this plays out, especially with like the Ben Affleck Batman coming back and all that kind of stuff, rumored to come to Disney or HBO Max.
With watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the weirdest thing was, and they started picking up steam when they had Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider in it.
Yeah.
Just like shit canned him on the show, and their justification was, he takes a lot of the budget to produce all those effects and do all that stuff. And it's like, dude, you guys are Disney. Like, this is one of the few characters that could cross over being a side character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and you could give him either his own series or a full-blown movie.
I was hoping he was going to get his own series.
He was supposed to get his own Hulu series, but I haven't watched the trailer, but I saw Gary's reaction from Nerdrotic, and it's like, there's no need to watch that trailer because it's not Hellstrom.
No, he has a sister in it. Like, they decided to get the secondary like script people from Doctor Who and go, here's this comic book, write it so people like it.
No, so Hellstrom does have a sister. Her name's Satana. They just changed her to Anna now. And then Gary was saying in his speech that they made Hellstrom an ethics professor instead of a man studying to be a priest. So they basically took out all of the actual like religion from the character.
But he's
so it's not even a character. Yeah, he's supposed to be like the son of the devil, right?
Yeah, so like that doesn't make any. You can't really force it.
Well, it looks like they're trying to. So. I like I said, I haven't seen that trailer yet, but I did see Gary's reaction. He's usually on point with that stuff. So it's I'm kind of glad maybe they didn't do the Ghost Rider with on Hulu, and that got canceled. And maybe they'll be doing There's rumors that Ghost Rider will show up in the MCU instead of this offshoot Hulu thing.
DC stuff. I don't know if you saw this. Grace Randolph just dropped about a half hour ago that she is confirming that there will be additional filming for the Snyder Cut, along with a few other things there. But yeah, there you go. So
she's a pretty good source for that because she obviously had Snyder didn't interview.
Yeah, I believe this. I believe this 100%. Yeah, I believe this 100%. Well, we all knew this too, kind of, but yeah.
Yeah, they kind of were hinting at that. But I will say the Lightcast podcast, who was also like money on a lot of the DC fandom stuff and with the Snyder Cut, he was tweeting that that original rumor wasn't true. So again, it's still a rumor, even if it's from Randolph. But I mean, I think she's usually pretty good with the DC stuff.
I would agree. I would agree. I believe this one.
But I will say the Lightcast podcast guy was also like 100% money on the Snyder Cut stuff, and especially with Superman and Henry.
Well, like we always reported the same thing too. Yeah, there's another alternate cut, but we're not going to see it unless something changes, and shit changed. So that's how we got to see it.
Yeah.
Can I address this real quick with Toxic?
Yeah.
He says when music CDs come out, they were $20 today, $20. Just saying. You want to know why that is? There's actually the music industry got in trouble. I don't remember what all happened after the fact, but between them and Walmart, they got in trouble because they were price gouging CDs for all these years. Because CDs like 10, 20 years ago when streaming took over should have only been like $4 or $5 on average. Like the price of a CD should have been way, way down. But they were keeping the price of a CD high for all these years for some weird reason. We know what reason, greed. But I mean, but instead of making it something that, because like DVD, the movie industry got smart, as the price of the production of a DVD went down, DVDs got cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Same thing with Blu-rays and so on down the line. Like that's the way it usually works. So you can get people who are not necessarily, can afford to pay $20, $30 a movie like we were talking earlier. They can afford to pay, $6, $7 when a movie comes to that secondary market kind of pricing range. Like that's what they should do. They didn't do that for many years on CDs. Like that's why. So, yeah.
So what do we? So like, I do want to get back to the Peacemaker series here. So this is what they said in the press release. They said that the series will explore the origins of the Peacemaker character, the master of weapons from the highly anticipated upcoming Suicide Squad film, and the new Max Original action adventure comedy series Peacemaker. They add the series will explore the origins of the character that Cena will play in the upcoming film, a man who believes in peace at any cost. no matter how many people he has to kill to get it. That's something that Gunn said in that behind the scenes where he was describing Peacemaker. So that's not we've heard that line before on how they're describing him. I see. So I don't know. Like, I think Drew's right on this. Cena needs to play a more serious character. I think that's kind of more his.
I think he will
angle.
play a more serious character. I think the comedy will be from him being the straight man to everything.
Okay.
I feel like that's the direction they would go in, rather than make Peacemaker quippy.
No, I don't know this character very well. Is he a lot like Jim Carrey's character in?
Dude, he's so obscure. Dude. He's a really tiny. Peacemaker is an obscure Suicide Squad character.
Well, right, but I mean, like, character-wise.
He came from the Charlton comics. He's who the comedian is based on.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that.
I would say he's more like a pulp Judge Dredd, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah, so that I actually now that that could actually work really well. If he's like a Dredd type character, or if like he's a comedian type character, and like you said, he's the straight man.
Definitely, at least I hope and I recommend that's the direction they go in.
Yeah, he definitely needs to play the straight man for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know. It's hard to have any expectations. We haven't seen Suicide Squad. We saw the behind-the-scenes trailer, which I loved.
Yeah,
that actually looked really good. I remember pausing on the on the king shark, like biting that guy's head off, and I was like, "What?" Holy
I saw the day after we watched that trailer. You used that image as a header image for an article.
Well, didn't they let James Gunn do this one with an R rating in mind?
That is the rumor. I think it was Kinnaman did an interview. We ran an article on that. A lot of the other publications were running it that was the R rating, so we tried to do something unique to stand out. Yep. But he was talking about that it's R. He was saying that,
which I don't think is a bad idea for Warner's. They need to take more advantage of that.
For sure.
I mean, I didn't like the fact that I couldn't take, at the time when Man of Steel came out, my girlfriend had a son who I'd practically raised on my own at that time for like 7 years. And the saddest part was, he's 5 years old trying to take him to a Superman movie, and he cried and bawled and screamed till he left because it was too loud and scary for him.
Oof,
so, so like that's a downside, but the upside is if you're going to do this shit, do it right. Since Marvel's got the kiddie market cornered, then get the adults. Why not? That's what I've been saying for Ninja Turtles for years. They've been sitting here stumbling, trying to get a new kids version off the ground. Fuck the kids. The kids don't care about Ninja Turtles. Get the adults in there. They care. We care. I care. Exactly. There you go.
The original Ninja Turtles was a very adult content.
Oh yeah, it was particular.
And they wasted the PG-13 rating on those two new movies. Like, there's no reason those two new movies should be rated PG-13.
Yeah, I am. This is the first time I'm hearing that they were PG-13, and I am baffled.
Wasn't like the original Eastman comic books, like they were surprised that a lot of the Foot Clan guys were eventually replaced by androids with the whole.
Well, no, in the T-series, they kind of knew that was going to happen because back then in the 80s, they had a lot of rules and standards, that you had to go abide by. You could kill as many robots as you want on screen as long as it wasn't a living creature.
And you could shoot as many ray guns as you wanted at androids as possible.
Yeah, all that stuff. Androids weren't people or, living creatures. As long as it wasn't a living creature, yeah.
Like, where Destro had literally the massive army of automaton Cobra soldiers that they would just
battle android troopers.
Yeah.
Exactly the reason why. That's why Transformers work. They're robots.
Yeah, they could just beat each other up all day.
That's why He-Man never threw a punch at anybody. Even you may not remember it, but he never did punch anybody.
Same with 90s Spider-Man. He doesn't throw a punch either. He kicks people a lot and he webs them, but he doesn't throw a punch.
So this is the image that they're using. Definitely adult, I would think. So that also implies that the movie's going to be R.
I kind of like that. That looks cool. I like that.
I like it too because the person who's saying that is already getting their ass beat by Peacemaker. It looks like he's got the blood spatter on his chin.
That looks great. That looks so fun. And I mean, I love the way his costume looks in Suicide Squad. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's the stylized version, and then here's from the behind the scenes. No, it looks really good. Yeah, I can't wait to see what it actually looks like once they polished it up a little bit.
Yeah, like in action and stuff.
So I have I think I mean I am worried about the current events type stuff, but we'll see if what they do. It's not supposed to go into production until 2021, so it's possible we might have a different current events by then.
Hopefully.
But I doubt it because they're probably writing it now or have already written parts of it.
Ooh, yeah.
So we'll see. Any last words on Peacemaker?
No, I just hope it's good, but I got a feeling it's going to be woke like everything else.
Yeah. All right. What do we want to move to next? Do we want to do Mando or do we want to do Scarface?
Mando.
Mando it is.
Can I say one thing about the woke
Yeah.
thing? We could be misinterpreting him commenting in the kind of character. And knowing James Gunn, it might be him having some fun with the woke culture.
Yeah, I'm giving this one the benefit of the doubt at this point until we see anything that's more of a confirmation of how they're tackling current events. I'm going to give this one the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, it could literally be James Gunn pulling like a RoboCop 2 where he makes Peacemaker like have a V chip and he's woke and he hates being woke throughout the course of the series and then pulls it out of his damn head.
That would be
at the end. He goes
I
on
never thought of RoboCop 2 that way, but you're 100% correct.
That would be outstanding.
That would be
yeah, I don't know, man, dude. I mean, if you look at the stuff that Gunn was tweeting in like 2018
That's the thing, is
before
what
he got fired.
tweets. What he tweets and what he puts on screen are two different things.
I mean, how many people have watched Brightburn? That movie is beyond effed up to nth degree, and that's just still the guy that says that he's gonna go woke with it.
Just like Super. Like, I mean, you see Super. I mean, I know that movie was before the woke culture, but I mean,
the woke storm.
That
Gunn was a producer on Brightburn. He didn't direct that film.
He practically decapitated and gutted Ellen Page's character in Super.
Yeah, that movie takes a very dark turn in the last 20-some minutes or whatever of the movie. You're just like, whoa.
He didn't give any shits during Slither whatsoever.
Oh yeah. And I wouldn't.
When were those films made? When was Super and Slither made?
They were all kind of next to each other. I think they were like 20.
Just before, yeah, they were all leading up
2016.
to Guardians, and then Guardians was right after Slither, wasn't it?
Yeah, pre-2016. Yeah.
No, but like I said, like he says stupid shit online, but like his movies never seem to match up with his.
I mean, he also did the Belko Experiment, which is a messed up movie too, which he mixed Office Space and Battle Royale into the same movie, and he had office people killing each other.
I like that movie.
Oh, the Belko Experiment's insane. Yeah.
That was that
the guy has a sixth sense of humor without getting into it too much. I mean, let's put it that way. I mean,
honestly, I think
no, for sure. But I mean, I do want to say that there is like concern there. If you look at a lot of his tweets post 2016, before he got fired, he was totally. He was. I mean, a lot of it was just him railing against the president, railing against Roseanne when Roseanne was going through all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, did
he actually go after Roseanne?
Oh yeah,
he went after Roseanne, but
yeah, he did. Because people were calling him a hypocrite when it was happening to him. Yeah,
honestly,
totally
I don't remember. Yeah,
this whole situation.
He deleted all his tweets, but yeah, he did do it.
And I think he's gonna just take everybody for a ride, like he's done, like what Tom was saying with all of his other movies. I think that there is a Mr. Driver and a Mr. Walker, and the Walker's on Twitter trying to use a smoke screen to keep the wokies away from him. And then once he gets in the camera seat in directing these shows, it's going to be an entirely different James Gunn.
I totally disagree. That doesn't fit anything. I totally disagree with that. I mean, what has he done? He has only done the Guardians films since what, 2016?
No, he did Brightburn.
No, he did not. He was a producer on Brightburn. He did not direct that film.
It's still in the same vein.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Writing and directing is very different from producing.
Gunn to help make something go along his way. It's kind of his taste. It's flair.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're
John's completely right. Since the Guardians movies, he hasn't done anything, and the last Guardians movie was 2017, which was in the midst of when the wokeness was. It was already here, but this is when it was starting to get into the mainstream. So we haven't seen anything that he's directed yet. So John's got valid fears, but there's also a valid defense coming from like mine and Tom and Steve's side, which is he what we see on screen and what he's attached his name to and stuff doesn't necessarily line up with it. But the problem is, yeah, we haven't seen an example of how he is nowadays.
right.
And it looks like he was writing all that time in between the films. Like he wrote the Belko experiment in between the Guardians films, which I'm sure he went from, Guardians 1 into pre-production on Guardians 2. And then he did writing and stuff for the Avengers films. And then he, Brightburn as well. He was not a writer on Brightburn, actually, just to let you know. He was just just a producer. So John was right about that.
It was written by his brothers.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So he was just a producer. And then, then Suicide Squad and Guardians Galaxy 3 got pushed off because of all that business too. And then now because of the coof. But yeah.
All right, let's get into Mandalorian because that's what we say we're going to do next. All right.
And
so there's a couple rumors here. They all come from Doomcock, Overlord Doomcock on YouTube. So he basically had two different sources telling him two different things. And so just as a refresher, the original rumors about the original latest rumors about the Mandalorian came from Grace Randolph, who claimed that the guy who plays the Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal, basically exited the production on season 2 halfway through after he was asked to leave from the creative team, and then he did leave.
Did you guys miss our video on it?
I haven't looked at that one yet.
Yeah, because we had a completely different. I think everybody's overlooking our video because we had a completely different source come to us. Well, not necessarily come to us, but in a roundabout way, and they backed it all up with receipts as far as who told them this, and it was very similar to the Grace Randolph story. But anyway, continue here.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that was the original rumor. What came from Randolph. So he basically said, so Pedro Pascal, from what I've heard, two sources now, is frustrated about this because he wanted to take his helmet off, and also was pretty darn uncomfortable in the Mando suit on set, so he became difficult. She kind of rambles on a little bit here, but she said because the creative team wanted him to keep the helmet on, he went to Lucasfilm. This is what she claims. The Mando team was like, you know what, you should just go, and Pedro Pascal did, and it happened halfway through filming. So that's kind of what she says there for season 2. So then we got some new rumors. I think this was yesterday. Doomcock dropped it, but we got it up today. Based off of Randolph's original rumors, and I guess the source that you had as well, Tom. I hadn't looked at that video yet. But so obviously, Doomcock says in all of his videos, consider what you're about to hear to be unverified. Take these rumors with a grain of salt. Most people don't either listen to that part or don't read it, don't understand it, because they somehow always think that a rumor is fact, and they don't understand what the definition of a rumor is.
So bizarre. It's the weirdest behavior.
I don't understand it, but people think that that's they just they don't get what that word means. But so he says that one of his best sources claimed that he or she didn't know anything about there being problems with Pascal. A source claims that Pedro didn't walk off the show as rumored. Season 2 has been finished quite a while, and they are moving forward with production on seasons 3 and 4. Doomcock had previously done a video where he says they were using an abandoned Air Force base in the middle of a desert to film seasons 2 and 3, but he's now saying seasons 3 and 4, so he might have misspoke in that original video, and it's seasons 3 and 4. I thought that that didn't make sense to me when I watched that video a couple weeks ago. But so back to Pedro, he would also hear from a different source saying that he said, according to this source, one of our most reliable insiders, there's indeed a problem with Pedro Pascal. Pedro felt very frustrated at being hidden in a mask and wanting more FaceTime on the show. My source claims that Pascal was jealous over Gina Carano and Baby Yoda getting all the, I spelled that wrong, it should be attention, when he's the actual star of the show, and this did indeed lead to some friction. And then he would go on. I don't know if he was talking about the same two sources or if these were two new sources. I thought when I was listening to it, he was talking about two new sources. So he would say, so my initial source admitted that Pedro Pascal was unhappy with the mask situation, but claimed it wasn't as ugly as Randolph had depicted it. Pascal never went to Kathleen Kennedy, as the claims say. According to my source, Kennedy is completely marginalized as far as the Mandalorian goes. She has no power to change anything Favreau and Filoni want to do at this point. So any suggestions that Pascal wanted to get Kathleen Kennedy to intercede for him are it should be reportedly.
Well, we're starting to wonder if it wasn't Bob Iger.
Who
Pascal went to, because I'll tell you our version here in a minute here, but yeah, go ahead.
So I'll keep going here. So he says this source claims that Pedro Pascal only mentioned the situation to George Lucas one day while Lucas was visiting the set. So this source claims that while indeed Pascal was unhappy about the situation, the whole incident was being blown out of proportion. People this source has spoken to claim the situation has been addressed, and my source couldn't understand why this was being all brought up now. My source concluded that they could neither confirm nor deny that Pascal will be in season 3 of The Mandalorian. So Doomcock kind of found that fishy, that his source was kind of not giving a straight answer. So then he was contacted, I guess, by a news source who told him that Pedro Pascal did indeed speak to, oh my gosh, this is so frustrating. That keeps popping up. Pedro Pascal did indeed speak to George Lucas on the set of The Mandalorian one day. He knew that Favreau and Filoni both respect George's opinion, and he was hoping that George could make Favreau and Filoni see the light, look at things from Pascal's perspective, and get him some FaceTime on the show. This apparently didn't work, and at that point, the problems began. Pascal allegedly became very difficult to work with. He would pull the helmet off in the middle of scenes without warning. He started getting his lines wrong, showing up for work late. His attitude started causing a lot of friction on set, that at one point he was told to leave the set. This apparently is the source of the rumor that he walked off the set. It seems he didn't quit so much as he was told to get the F out.
That's more in line with what we heard.
Right. That's what Randolph, I think, originally kind of was discussing too.
Well, there was a big rumor that he stormed off the set. I think that she said too, and that was the thing. It's like it was never him storming off the set. It was basically him being told to get the fuck out because he went over their head.
Yeah, that's what she said. So she said that he went to Lucasfilm and they were like, "It's time for you to just go," and then he left. Is what she said. Paraphrasing. But so then Doomcock also says, but here's the kicker. My initial source said the situation was resolved and they can neither confirm nor deny that Pedro Pascal will return for season 3 of The Mandalorian. While my news source claims, I forgot the quotation mark there. My news source, I really messed up on this article quite a bit. My news source claims the situation is resolved all right. Pedro Pascal will not be returning to the set of The Mandalorian. From season 3 onward, he will only be recording lines for The Mandalorian. He will no longer be appearing on camera. It will be someone else in the suit. He says this satisfies Pascal. He will have to work a lot less and will no longer have to be shoved into that uncomfortable costume all day. And it satisfies the crew as the guy in the suit will no longer be pulling off his helmet in the middle of takes and complaining to George Lucas. So that is that's what the latest rumors are from Doomcock. What are the latest rumors from you guys, Tom?
It's very similar. Like I said, when we first heard it, I was totally like, "Oh, this can't be true." And even if it is, of course, she leaves herself the convenient out of it was already resolved, so chances are we'll never hear it. But basically, then I stumbled across somebody in the community who knows somebody who works on the show. I can't say exactly what, because again, we get into the situation. I hate saying it, but we don't want to put anybody in a position where they could be fired. So basically, after this stuff became public, this person talked to this person about the whole situation. They basically said they refishered it. And the big thing wasn't so much about the mask that I got out of it, because the word that was used was excessive story changes. So it was more to do with him going over their head first and foremost. And then when he did do that, it was over excessive story changes. So I don't know. And again, this goes into like, this is where we were kind of saying, okay, well, wait a minute now, because we heard again from another completely different source from one of our other sources prior to this, that there has been a major shift behind the scenes on Star Wars. And the timing of it would all kind of line up with probably about midway through filming of Mandalorian season 2. So that means either Pedro got his way, or he didn't like the changes that were coming down the road, and that's what he was complaining about. And in the end, it was worked out, which everybody has pretty much that's like across the board what everybody's kind of said. It was quote unquote worked out. What that means exactly, I don't know.
Is up for
Interesting.
And it could be as simple as what Doomcock said. They're like, "Yep, you don't need to be on the set no more." Because that's the other thing is, I think Pedro plays off that he's in the costume a hell of a lot more than he is. Because I don't know if you remember, John, he didn't even get hired until so far into filming. Like they didn't even. He was played by a stuntman, 2 other stuntmen most of the time in the first season. One of which was being John Wayne's grandson.
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, honestly, it's like it's a Darth Vader type character where you don't need. I mean,
Right.
you never see Darth Vader's face, so you have James Earl Jones do the voiceover, and it works really well. I think Doomcock was saying something like, he was like, it's good that he was actually agreeing with Pascal that he should be able to like take his helmet off, and I'm just like, he doesn't. I mean, we don't because what did he say? He says he can take his helmet off so he can have other storytelling options, and he was talking about like romance stuff and like that, and it's just like you don't really need that in The Mandalorian.
No, I don't think you do at all.
No, but if you take into consideration the other things that were said, like if the story does take a turn where it does concentrate more on the Jedi and Baby Yoda, and with Ahsoka Tano coming in, and maybe even a little bit more on Cara Dune, like if these things are true, and you add in somebody who's at the level of an actor where they're at with Pedro Pascal, like he's not a household name or a household face yet, but people kind of know his name. And if you're somebody who's involved in something like Star Wars, like look at Gina, her star went up astronomically after she was in this show because it's a Star Wars show, and her face was right up front, like everybody's seen her face. Pedro, on the other hand, there's probably not a lot of people who associate him with the show yet, and that's understandable coming from an actor in his position where he would be like, look, I want to be on screen a little bit more. And even if he did say something like that, that is kind of understandable, even if it does come off egotistical, because the guy has only really been in Game of Thrones as far as anything mentionable outside of smaller parts in like what was that?
It keeps getting pushed back.
Yeah. Well, I can understand from his standpoint, it's not a resume builder because it's like, what's the point of doing it if nobody can really see what I'm doing? So I get where he's coming from. But at the same time, he's going about it kind of like a diva,
the rumor's true. Yeah.
Right. And that's where they said he Ray Fishered it. And I agree. I understand where they're saying what they're saying there because, there's a lot of people that are debating about the whole Ray Fisher thing. The only thing that I can see there that I don't understand is I don't really see him being treated, differently because of his color of his skin. I see him being treated the way he is because he comes off like a little egotistical prick who's never been in a movie before, who thinks he can tell the people who are making the film how it should go. And
I do want to interrupt you there. I don't think he ever said anything about him being treated differently because of the color of his skin.
He used the whole BLM thing to get it out, though. And he kept saying, stuff about, what's his face, John Boyega. And see, the difference here is John Boyega has actual proof with the whole Chinese poster and all that other business about how he was treated. And, the storylines that he was supposed to be given, according to JJ, they had the scene where he was, technically supposed to, indicate that he has some kind of force ability in the first film that got cut and all these other things that got cut along the way. But no, like
he wielded a lightsaber.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, there was more to it, I guess, though, is the whole point. But regardless,
there was obviously more to it, but like wielding a lightsaber in the original trilogy meant that you.
My point is Boyega's situation is he's talking about 3 films in, they still didn't do any of the shit, and they wasted his character. Ray Fisher's been in 1 movie and he's still working on the same movie. I mean,
Yeah.
It's not like he's had 10 movies under his belt. He's acting like he's Ben Affleck, you know what I mean? And even Ben Affleck got kind of slapped down in that whole situation, it sounded like, after the fact, because he was the head of the whole thing for like 10 minutes, and then his Batman movie's gone. He's gone. Everything's, anyway, but.
Yeah, I don't want to discount his claims because obviously I wasn't there. I don't really know.
I believe his claims, but I also believe that he was probably being treated that way because he was acting like he was entitled to all this shit that it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I also think that like when that was happening, Warner was also like just in a crazy panic, like insane mode as well.
Oh yeah.
With Justice League, and that's kind of when they started changing everything and like basically abandoning their plan that they have.
Well, yeah, the same thing like Pedro,
like, all that stuff. Yeah,
I can see from Ray's point of view. Like, look, if you're working with somebody first, like Zack Snyder, who's receptive as an actor, and then you turn around and your new director Joss Whedon, who just basically tells you to shut up and do what I tell you to do. That's going to be a bit of a culture shock to you. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you're somebody who knows how the game works, you should know how that works already. Like you're just going to be like, all right, this guy's not going to be like Zach. He's not going to be receptive to my shit. I just got to do what I got to do and get done with the job. Like at the end of the day, that's what you do. And then you just hope this movie gets you another job afterwards. That's it.
Yeah. How old is he? Is he
early 20s? He's only been in
yeah.
Broadway shows. He's never been in bit parts. He's never even been in anything else other than Justice League, to my knowledge. I mean, he may have done something since then, but right. I don't think he has really.
Yeah, so I think you hit it home right there. He's not. He probably doesn't know how the Hollywood game works. He didn't know how it worked. And again, I think that was probably a culture shock too. He's dealing with
no, and I said, yeah, I totally see it from his point of view, just like I can see this situation from Pedro's point of view.
Right.
Both sides of it, and then the other side of it too. Like if I'm Filoni and Favreau, especially if there's this separation going on in Lucasfilm, like we've heard, and he's going to the higher ups and getting people involved that they don't want involved, then yeah, that's going to rub people the wrong way. I mean, whether it was Kathy or Bob, I don't think it really matters at this point. Hey,
I just looked it up, and Justice League and Batman v Superman are the first thing he's ever done.
Right.
He's in Justice League for 2 seconds. BVS for 2 seconds.
BVS for 2 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, there's the cameo with the video clip, right?
Yeah. When Bruce is hacked, or Clark is hacking? I don't know. It's the scene with Wonder Woman.
And I get it. He's loyal to Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder plucked him out of obscurity and put him in a movie. And he was probably listening to every little thing the kid wanted to do. And, he probably made the kid think the movie was all about him. That's what a good director does.
Snyder has talked about that Cyborg was going to play a much bigger role in his Justice League. And we'll probably see that when it comes to HBO Max, what his vision was for Cyborg.
Speaking of Grace Randolph and getting it back around to this, yeah. I mean, the longer we get into this until somebody actually comes out and says anything, that's the other thing is the glaring, like Pedro has not denied this yet. And he's been asked directly 100 million times on Twitter.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I think we retweeted someone who tweeted at him with our article. So I was like, yeah, sure.
That's almost as bad as not saying anything at all. It is as bad as saying yes or no in a way, because it leaves it out there and it's bad press.
Yeah, I think Doomcock actually kind of talks about that in his video. He says that he initially thought that it could be press to try and promote the show, even if it was bad press, just to try and get people talking about it.
But no,
which is a possibility. That is a theory out there in marketing circles that bad press can still lead to people driving people to theaters. I think that's a theory that we've kind of embraced with the Joker.
Yeah.
All the bad press surrounding that, and then it does $1 billion.
I mean, in recent events, J.K. Rowling's new book is it debuted at #1 by a huge margin. So.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to deny that factor, but you still have a situation where, look, Disney and all these other companies would probably love to make all of us look like we have eggs on our face anytime they have a possibility to do so they could discredit us at any turn.
Yeah.
And this is just adding to the fire. Like, the longer even Pedro just doesn't say no, it's not true. That's all he's got to say, even if he's fucking lying. You know what I mean? Even if he's lying, at least he says something to acknowledge it, that it's not true. Like, it would make us all look like a bunch of dopes, but at least he would say, you know, that's what I say about Star Trek all the time too, to everybody who kind of tries to think they're going to back us in a corner. It's like, you know what? All these people have Twitter accounts and they've been asked this shit directly. Yeah. Not once have they ever denied any of this shit. They'll dance around it. They'll say this and that and the other, but they will never, ever deny anything. That's the problem, because they can't. And that's the same reason why when people ask, well, why don't they go out and they sue these people? Because they can't. Because they can't prove, they can't disprove what we're saying. That's the problem.
I know we were, what was it, Monday? I was on After Dark.
Yeah, I think it was Monday.
Yeah, we were talking about that Star Trek rumor. I went and looked at that Screen Rant story where they get a response from Paramount. They don't quote Paramount's response. They just have one sentence at the top of that article that says Paramount, a spokesperson for Paramount contacted us and said that they're like that they're still like developing Star Trek movies. They don't talk anything about like Star Trek 4 or anything like that. Which I think that's probably where the giant freaking robot rumor like kind of goes off the rails, is that they're saying that they're not developing any Star Trek movies at all anymore. Right. That's ridiculous. They've been developing Star Trek movies since what, the 80s?
80s, yeah.
Yeah, so, the bigger thing is now Emma Watts deciding what is going to go forward.
Yeah.
And we're working on something. We're trying to get to the bottom of something. I can't really say what the fuck is going on. I mean, if you've been paying attention to certain things, you might be able to piece together what's kind of going on, but like, we're trying to get to the bottom of this, and that's what's been taking us so long on the Star Trek video. There is something going on behind the scenes over there. That's all I know. I can't get into logistics, but the most I can say is they have either found a way, or there's something going on to where Kurtzman is getting pushed off to the side. Like, all the stuff we've been saying is not just true, but it's very fucking true.
I think the fact that we haven't heard anything about Clarice is really, really makes that very clear to me.
Not just that, his other show too. He had that The Man Who Fell to Earth he was supposed to be working on as well.
Right, but yeah, Clarice was the one he was supposed to be like literally working on, and then wasn't he making like contradicting statements during the Star Trek stuff that they were doing?
Possibly, he always does. That's the reason why we wonder why anybody ever believes a damn thing that comes out of his crooked mouth, because Kurtzman's never said one thing that was ever true.
Yeah, well, no, he was like saying something. Like, he opened up, like, it was a tape segment. He opened up the segment and saying something, and then like during the segment, like, some of the actors like were saying the exact like opposite of like what was going on with that with the supposed like new Enterprise show. What
okay, well, that I can say there is more movement on that than we know.
Okay. What is that show called?
Strange New Worlds. But here's the thing with Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds was already prepaid for. If you stop and think about it.
Okay.
Well, if you stop and think about it, like, it doesn't matter if anybody signs on to Strange New Worlds, because Netflix prepaid for Star Trek Discovery, remember? Right. So all the sets and everything they have is all the same shit they had for Discovery. They're just going to repurpose it. That's what Star Trek used to do. So this show is prepackaged, prepaid for. It's already precasted. They already know people like Pike's character. So this Strange New World show is for us. Like, that is directly what they're doing it for, because look at how white it is. There is not one, diverse bit about that cast yet. It will get more diverse. They have number one, but I mean, it will get more diverse as they cast it. But they already have a stage set aside for it. They already had a production crew set. So this is going to happen. And the reason it's going to happen is just because it's cheap. It's not going to cost them that much to produce, and they'll use it for Paramount Plus. But what's funny is they have not mentioned Star Trek at all in Paramount Plus. You know what I mean? Like, that's the funny thing. Wow. If you notice that press release, they didn't mention Star Trek at all. And you would think they would be like, look, this is the flagship of our Paramount, like, kind of thing. Like, they have all the shows, all that shit.
All the Star Trek.
Exactly. And they're not doing that, which is weird.
That is super weird.
Yeah, I honestly, like, those announcements for like Paramount Plus and stuff, I don't really pay attention to those things.
No, but in any of them, they don't mention anything about. They mentioned a bunch of other shows that are coming to Paramount Plus.
It'd be like promoting Disney Plus and not mentioning Marvel.
Or mention the Mandalorian or anything.
Or like the Mandalorian. Yeah, that's probably more apt.
Here's the variety. I guess this is from yesterday. For some reason, I thought this was announced like a week ago, but.
Oh yeah, they did the week ago. This is new though. I haven't seen this.
Okay, so this is a new thing from Variety. Rebrands double down on movies and minis. This is that Yellowstone show. Apparently, that show is huge on the Paramount Network, right? This is, from what I understand,
is that the one Kevin Costner? Yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah, they're out in like Oregon or something, out west, I think.
But they got a Godfather docudrama coming about the making of the movie. That sounds interesting. They're reviving a couple of shows from MTV or VH1 Behind the Music and shit like that. They had all that stuff in the announcement. Yeah,
that's I'll be honest. Like, I watched the Challenger docu series on Netflix. I find that stuff's like that's probably the more interesting content that they got on there. That Godfather thing
got mine and Robert's attention right away because it's not a documentary, it's a docudrama.
Drama, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like an actual series about the making of the movie. So that'll be real interesting to see.
Yeah, that could be really fun. So here, this is what Variety is saying. This is from yesterday. Variety has learned that Viacom CBS-owned Cabler is planning to move out. God, this is so sorry. I'm taking the Lord's name in vain there too. Television series and instead focus its efforts. So look at this, out of long-form series television, and instead focus its efforts on made-for-TV movies featuring big-name stars. So that means that they might be abandoning Star Trek. Move out of long-form series television. That's what Star Trek is, right?
So
I can't talk about it yet.
Okay. Well, we can talk about this.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't. Here's the thing: is I want to say something, but I don't know everything yet, and until I do, I can't speak exactly to that. But you guys might be on the nose with the long form going bye.
Yeah, that's so interesting because that's like the opposite of what everyone else is doing. I guess Netflix kind of does both. They have they do the
even their series are more like short form mini series if you think about it because they don't like to do things more than 3 seasons.
Yeah, no more than 3 seasons, and like each season only has like 8 to 10 episodes. Whereas like stuff on the CW, each season is like 20 episodes or more.
Well,
right?
that was the original television season was 20 to 25 episodes a season, yeah.
So the current plan is to program 52 original movies per year on the network, or 1 movie per week. Wow. Each movie will have a budget in the low to mid 7-figure range. So this
is just what we were talking about.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about. Holy crap! Wow. Once per quarter, the network expects to program a miniseries or scripted series on the scale of its hit drama Yellowstone, potentially spinning off characters from those projects into their own films or sequels in the future. So Yellowstone that's long form storytelling though. That's a long form series, right?
Yeah, but they're doing it kind of more like
longer form,
like the TV movies used to be. Okay. Like, remember how you used to get like a series and then it would go off the air, but then they do like 3 or 4 TV movies after the fact. Like, right. I feel like that's probably more like it would be feeling like, in my guesstimate.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like kind of what Marvel's doing. What did they say? Each of I think Don was on this. He described them. Each episode is supposed to be like an hour-long movie. And there's 8 episodes per season for the WandaVision and like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and stuff like that.
Yeah, like Donald said, like Trial of the Incredible Hulk's a great example. Like they did like 3 Hulk movies after the show ended.
Yeah,
and they were even going to do I think a couple more, but then when What's-His-Face found out he was sick, that's when they decided to do the Death of the Incredible Hulk, I think. But yeah.
Oh, Lou Ferrigno?
Not Lou Ferrigno, but guy who plays Bruce Banner.
Ruffalo?
No, in the original TV series.
No, I thought. Oh, the Bruce Banner character, not the Hulk.
Yeah, because he died of cancer like a year or 2 after they made the last Hulk movie, and I can't think of his name now.
Guys, it's Bill Bixby.
Bill Bixby. I didn't hear you. You're kind of cutting in and out, SB. Yeah, so like.
Weird.
So Chris McCarthy says we're doubling down on scripted but diversifying with made-for-TV movies, miniseries, and blockbuster series with movie stars like Yellowstone, says Chris McCarthy. Made-for-TV movies provide all the creative upside and ability to work with great talent without the full-time commitment of a series or feature. Plus, we're maximizing our investment because we can build a valuable library to use across our streaming, cable, and global footprints. That's really interesting.
That is.
It's like they're going back to the old days when Paramount used to be like, they used to be, you know, pretty much they were up ahead of the curve when it came to straight to video stuff back in the day, because they signed on with like Full Moon Features and stuff like that. So they had a lot more straight to video features back in the day than like a lot of the other companies did before they got into it. So I feel like it's going to be very similar between that and TV movies. I get what they're going with here. This is not a bad idea.
Yeah, and it's kind of what we, like you said, it's what we were talking about before you even saw this article. So they also say that they're going to be McCarthy, the MTV and VH1 chief, who was promoted late last year to oversee blah, 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 recently rolled out a like-minded overhaul of Comedy Central, pivoting from scripted live-action half hours and toward adult animation event programs and specials with high-profile talent such as John Mulaney and original movies.
Beavis and Butthead's coming to Comedy Central as well.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about, the adult animation. As part of the programming shift, Paramount Movie Network will move out of unscripted programming. The unscripted shows Ink Master, Wife Swap, and Battle of the Fittest Couples will all be canceled. Cops had previously been canceled at Paramount Network back in June. Unscripted hits like Bar Rescue and Lip Sync Battle will live on, but will be moved elsewhere within the Viacom CBS cable portfolio. Interesting.
Yeah, it just shows that unscripted television is going the way of the dodo. We kind of saw that happening for the last few years now.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. A Food Network is still heavily has all the food challenge stuff.
Well, that's a little bit different. See. There's always a place for food.
That's like competition shows too.
Well, not just that, but food porn.
I found there's like a barbecue food competition on Netflix. I watched the first season. There's
heck yeah.
I'm sorry, barbecue's like my favorite food. So
no, it's weird how it works. Like, you never would think in a million years you're interested in any kind of food show, but trust me, there's a food show out there for you.
Oh yeah. My wife and I, we also like watching the Holiday Baking Championship, because that's a lot of fun too. Because they have like they usually have a bunch of like professional bakers going up against like home bakers, and it's really fun.
Oh yeah, those are always cool.
Plus, it's like they're making like yummy, delicious like Christmas desserts.
They make you want to eat too much shit. That's the problem.
Yeah. The network's scripted series Yellowstone will continue as part of the new strategy, having been renewed for a fourth season in February. However, the plan is to present the show as a cinematic experience, possibly programming 2 episodes in a single night with limited commercial interruptions.
Like a TV movie.
They're going to have commercials on Paramount Plus?
I don't know.
It sounds like maybe they'll introduce them for that.
Maybe that was part of the thing with CBS All Access, is they kind of tested that ground with having ads in the one level. Maybe they'll have 2 different levels.
Right.
Or it could be.
Right? Yeah. Just Hulu has 2 levels too, right?
Yeah, same thing. Like, you have the cheaper one where you get ads, and then if you pay the premium, then you don't get any ads. Probably the same thing.
I know Crunchyroll has the free version where you get the ads, and then the paid version where you don't have the ads either.
They already sound like they're getting their shit together better than the fucking Peacock had.
Oh yeah.
Disney, they just launched it too early. I mean, they got lucky with the pandemic, but at the same time, they're dead in the water because they got nothing to put on it. You know.
I mean, if you believe those reports from those data firms, which I really don't know what kind of credibility they really have. It's hard for me to know that. But they were saying that streaming out on Disney is up.
It is.
Transactions are up.
Home. Right, because they're home. Yeah.
Right.
But the thing is it's kind of like they have the same thing right now in the DVD industry. DVD sales are up right now too, but it's just because of the pandemic more so. Now, granted, Disney probably would. Nobody's denying that Disney was going to be the one to beat in this whole thing, like regardless of how they've managed to launch it or not. And HBO Max has done nothing but have an uphill battle the whole way, it feels like, whether it's because of their own, short-sightedness or because they're, dealing with being such assholes for years owning DirecTV. That a lot of people are, because I guess like can you even get it yet on like the Fire Stick or the Roku or whatever?
Roku,
so they're still dealing with that shit.
I can't. I mean, there's no way for me to even watch it because they don't have it on a Roku. I think
which
they have
sucks because they got a lot of
great
stuff. Yeah, if you got a PlayStation, you can do it on the PlayStation. Which sucks because they do have a lot of good shit on HBO Max.
Yeah, except for Unpregnant, they have that.
Well, yeah, but so does Netflix have
Netflix
their
got
problems.
Cuties, so yeah. So and there's some other there's some other show that I saw people were
and I haven't seen Unpregnant yet or whatever the hell it's called, but I'm willing to bet the way that the trailer plays out, because I even said that when it came, like, it's just the idea of the movie's stupid. It's like, I bet you $5 at the end of the movie she doesn't have the abortion, but still.
No, she does.
Oh, does she? Either way, it's still fucking stupid. But
based on a book, and in the book she has the abortion. The director specifically said she was basically writing a movie for
that makes it worse.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it much worse, because at least if it went the other way, I was going to be like, well, the whole point of the journey was for her to get to that point, but no, not even that. Can't even do that. Back to this.
With 52 on Paramount Network, 20 to 30 will go to MTV. What?
Huh?
20 to 30 of the
they'll
films
probably
are
be on
MTV
they'll probably
branded?
be on both Paramount Plus and the network television, is what they're saying.
Oh,
and
right,
so maybe that's where the limited commercial interruptions comes in.
Yes, okay, that makes, and while another 20 to 30 will go to Comedy Central.
Yeah, so I get what they're saying. So like every other week, you'll have a movie on either Comedy Central or MTV. Gotcha.
So MTV is going to be like they must be rebranding MTV again, because
it makes
MTV was all like unscripted stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it makes sense though, because
stuff like that.
MTV is probably on the most cable markets in the country. That's why.
MTV's like Jersey Shore and like Catfish and like Teen Mom.
But that makes sense, because between those two channels, those are the two channels that are on the most cable cable systems in the country. SB, you're cutting out, man. What did you say? I'm sorry, dude.
No worries. I just said yes, those are old shows, but that's where they came from.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's when last I watched. I think Catfish is still going on though. I think I saw commercials for it.
It goes on every day in every city.
Yeah. And then they're talking about.
I'm gonna try and catfish somebody tonight. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. The network's bigger productions will be produced by Paramount Pictures, with a large portion will be hailed. See, I'm not the only one who makes grammar mistakes. Will be hailing from MTV Studios. Viacom CBS will work with international partners like Network 10, Channel 5, and Telefe on certain films. The value of films like those he is planning to program is that, quote, they are timeless and they work everywhere. Wow. When have we last heard a executive say something like that? Timeless, instead of like, we want to be current.
Current day, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we literally just got off the Peacemaker story.
Yeah. That is.
You got to remember, this is CBS, and CBS's main audience is largely, over what, 50? Yeah, people who like NCIS and love Walker, Texas Ranger, and fucking Matlock and shit. Yeah.
And CSI. Does CBS have Blue Bloods? Because I think that's like.
I think so.
Yeah, they have that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's their.
Yeah. Anything with Tom Selleck.
Like my parents. That's like literally what they watch.
Yeah. Anything your mom would watch.
Yeah, that's what my mom was big on, was Blue Bloods.
Ooh, Sam Elliott's on this one. I'm watching this.
Wow.
Going back to my Catfish comment, and John Willis was making a joke. He was like, "Catfish foodies on MTV. We're gonna get some barbecue catfish show." Yeah.
Barbecue
catfish.
See him, and then he adds, "CBS is people who remember the original Star Trek because they were there to see it."
I almost thought they mentioned it in the article until I realized you were reading the line out of the chat there. I was like, oh, they did mention it. No, they haven't mentioned it yet, have they?
I thought
we have not mentioned Star Trek yet. We have found projects around the world that make a lot of sense that we can tap into, particularly in the made-for-TV movie model. It enables us to access our global built-in infrastructure and expertise, particularly our facilities in Latin America. I mean, so I'm hearing this made-for-TV movie that's kind of what Netflix does, right? Like, Enola Holmes.
A little bit. They're a little higher end.
Movie. Yeah, they're a little. Some of them are, yeah, for sure. I would argue, like Triple Frontier is higher end. Extraction is a little bit higher end, but like I think Enola Holmes is something you would see on Disney Channel.
Well, they had like The Irishman and stuff like that too.
ABC Family.
Yeah. So I guess they have a little bit of a mix. So yeah. The films are valuable because they are highly repeatable on different platforms, as opposed to a long-form narrative series, which requires viewers to have seen all the preceding episodes in order to fully grasp the story and thus commit to watching more in the future. Which kind of is what everyone wants to do for these streaming services, because they want people to continue paying them. Right? I think that's kind of the idea with the scripted series. People keep watching. That's the whole reason why Amazon. I know OC Steve left, and we were talking about this earlier. He was saying that he didn't understand why they made The Boys to weekly after the first 3 episodes, and that's because they want you to keep.
They want you to keep coming back.
Keep subscribing and keep coming back. Plus, it builds buzz for the show, and you have people talking about it from week to week at the water cooler or online. At Paramount Network, that included... So, yeah, here we go. They're already talking about axing multiple projects, both in development and those already ordered to series. Uh-oh. Could that be Star Trek?
That should be Star Trek.
Already ordered a series. Could be Star Trek.
We have not heard dick about Picard season 2. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Except from
notice how Picard ended to where you can say that's a good ending, huh?
No.
The only one who talks about season 2 is Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, and that ain't happening because we've been hearing that they will not insure him right now.
Yeah, I saw that headline. I didn't watch that video. I need to watch that, so I might do a story on that. Because I did see the Your Insurance video.
Well, Tom Conkle was saying like that's across the board. Like anybody who's like the insurance companies are like fucking scared shitless right now. If anybody catches this, like look at what happened with the Batman. I mean, they lucked out there because that was Robert Pattinson and he's young. Yeah, but just imagine if like Patrick Stewart were to get it right now, like that would
Ellen or Bill Murray or
And just and then if anybody else catches it, the amount of lawsuits that it's like a big old mess it could turn into.
Yeah, I'm sure probably the biggest film that's probably having that issues right now is Jurassic Park or Jurassic World or whatever they're calling it now.
Maybe. The lucky side with movies like that is they can probably get away with doing a lot of green screen anyway.
Well, they did have a COVID outbreak on the set and they had to shut down.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's why I specifically mentioned that because they did.
I didn't know that. Okay,
I don't know if it was an outbreak, but I know they had a couple people test positive, and they had to shut down filming. They're filming in like Eastern Europe somewhere, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Somewhere. And then The Witcher had a couple like The Witcher had what's his name, the Game of Thrones guy. He tested positive too.
You mean they aren't filming on location in Isla Nublar?
No. But I think The Witcher's back in. I saw that Redanian Intelligence reported The Witcher's back in production too. So we'll see how long that lasts, though. But yeah, so they said that this series called Sexy Beast, it had been given a 10-episode straight-to-series order at the cable last year. It was announced in July that MTV Studios and creator Darren.
Yeah, Sexy Beast had what's his name? Who played Gandhi?
Yeah.
The original movie had him in it, but I don't know anything about the series.
Iron Man guy?
He was in the third Iron Man.
Yeah. Ben Kingsley?
Ben Kingsley, yeah. The original Sexy Beast had Ben Kingsley in it. Yeah, that was from like 10, 15 years ago.
So apparently, I don't what is going on here? It was announced in July that MTV Studios and creator Darren star Emily in Paris, that doesn't make sense. Which was first ordered by Paramount Network in September 2018.
I think they're trying to say it's not happening.
Yeah, they're saying it's not happening, but is it happening on Netflix? I don't understand.
It did.
Did
Maybe it
Netflix pick it
debuted
up?
its first season, but it's not getting its second season. Maybe that's what they're saying, or that. Yeah, that could be.
Oh yeah, it would debut its first season on Netflix. So the second,
So
yeah, maybe
Netflix might be picking it up. You never know.
Yeah, this is that was a horrible sentence. You have no idea what they're saying. The move comes as McCarthy says he and his group are focusing on content that they own, which is produced by their in-house studios. So that's probably why they're getting rid of Sexy Beast. And wait. Content that they own, which is produced by their in-house studios. So Tom, tell me about who owns Star Trek right now on
Paramount.
TV.
It's CBS.
They do. They don't. What's his name's production company doesn't.
Well, they're involved in
have
it, but like that's where that's kind of where we're trying to figure out what the hell's going on, because there's something going down, possibly Trek related, that is not related to Kurtzman. That's all I can really say right now.
Okay.
I don't have any confirmation or even enough information to go on. I'm trying to figure out what this project that is going on is and what it's all about. And we've got from some pretty good sources that Kurtzman's not involved. So that's all I can say that.
Okay.
Well, I've heard they're kind of going to push the movies.
It may be a movie or it may be something for this, and that's all. I really can't say specifically though. Otherwise,
because apparently they're back hot on the Chris Pine stuff.
I doubt that.
No, it sounds like they're gonna do like more low budget, potentially like TV movies. That's what
like the Holly one. Like the only reason.
Crews.
What was that?
Make like new independent crews for these movies.
Yeah, well, that's where like the Holly story. I don't know if you guys. I'm sure you guys covered that too.
We did cover that. Yeah.
Yeah, like the whole thing with that, I think is funny, and the reason I think that one's not completely dead, and on the back burner was it was probably meant to be Star Trek 4 to begin with, but he was like, "Oh, I don't need to use that crew or whatever." So that's like he convinced them like to give them another shot at another pitch, possibly. But like, I don't know how involved that's gonna like. That's something that's on the way back burner. Like, that's why we keep hearing it's dead. Star Trek 4 is completely fucking dead. No matter what anybody has in going on right now, even the Tarantino version of whatever is probably deader than dead.
Yeah, Tarantino is already he's made it clear he's moved on. I think the only people who bring that up are like the trades, which I saw that today. All the trades are going to be owned by the same company now. Penske.
Really?
Penske Media, but Hardy owns Variety and Deadline, and Rolling Stone is buying up the company that owns the Hollywood Reporter as well. So
wow,
yeah, cool. So that's interesting. I just thought I saw that on Twitter earlier today.
Oh, Cavetino Shea says in the chat, Disney is getting sued for Duke Kaboom from Toy Story 4 by Evel Knievel's heirs. Clownfish just dropped. They won't win. It's parody.
Yeah.
So I found this is interesting here. McCarthy says we are creative builders, not buyers, and always have been. As our group's portfolio has expanded, if we don't own something, we're transitioning out of it because it doesn't provide long-term value for the company. That's literally the opposite of what Netflix does, right?
Yeah.
Because Netflix, I think, buys up. They're a licensee.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is they don't really create much in house. Even the stuff that is Netflix original is usually like what would be like a negative pickup, I imagine, in Hollywood, where a production company puts it together, makes it, with the presumption or the deal with that they're going to pick it up after it's produced, kind of thing. Like, and then they buy things like Cuties, for instance. But like Paramount, actually, funnily enough, has a deal with Netflix. Like that's where Beverly Hills Cop 4 and possibly 5 come in. And I think that's what they're doing is they're selling off things like that to Netflix so then they can fund their smaller projects.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously have a deal for all the Star Trek shows that are on Netflix as well.
Which is international, but that's the thing is, like we keep like this
domestic, like Deep Space Nine and stuff like that is what.
Right. But those I think are also on Hulu and stuff too.
Well, right, but that's what I'm saying. That's what he's talking about here. He's saying, we are creative builders, not buyers, and always have been. As our group's portfolio has expanded, if we don't own something, we're transitioning out of it because it doesn't provide long-term value. They want to have stuff that they own that they can like license off to people like Netflix, cable companies, Hulu, etc., etc.
Right. Well, that's always been their goal recently with Star Trek, except for the other side of it was to push CBS All Access in the US.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's where I feel like something's going to change here. Like Star Trek it's so damaged right now. Like they have a lot of fixing to do to make it even worth anything anymore.
So here they kind of talk about their scripted shows. Other scripted shows currently set up at Paramount Network include Mayor of Kingstown from Yellowstone's Taylor Sheridan, Paradise Lost starring Josh Hartnett, last of which is currently set to air on both Paramount Network and Spectrum. Mayor of Kingstown will likely stay on Paramount Network, or would make a natural pairing with Yellowstone. It was also recently announced that Spectrum and Paramount Network are partnering on a limited series in which Jessica Chastain will star as country music legend Tammy Wynette. That sounds like something I would watch. I love all those. That's something I've also been watching, the Coal Miner's Daughter and the which is fantastic. With Sissy Spacek as Loretta Lynn, and then and Tommy Lee Jones plays her husband, and then there's the Patsy Cline film too, which I think that's on CMT. Airing all of that stuff.
But see, look at how big of a hit they say that Yellowstone is. Trek is nowhere near that. Even Picard.
The show regularly draws an audience of 5 to 6 million viewers in the Nielsen Live Plus 7 ratings, though it also over-indexes with viewers over 50. Yeah, that makes sense. The show's season 3 finale drew a whopping 7.6 million viewers.
That's like fucking Big Bang numbers.
Plus 3, marking not only the most watched episode of the show to date, but also the most watched telecast in network history. Compare that, like if you go back and look at our stories with Picard, even Lower Decks, viewership is constantly declining. You're seeing here, season 3 is their largest viewers yet, which means people are probably going back and watching
on streaming.
The old seasons as well, and catching up, and then watching it live. So that is actually really big. You hardly ever see a show go bigger.
Which is something we noticed with the Orville, which is why I'm not so sure. Like some people are like, "Oh, the Death of the Orville is going to Hulu." I'm like, I don't know about that. I think a lot of their audience already was there, like because Orville always did better in its secondary numbers.
Right. It says including simulcasts and encores, the season 3 finale drew 10.7 million. So they had another 3 million people watch after the live. And see, this is what I'm talking about. I do think a lot of people still watch stuff live rather than waiting.
You have a lot of people who still have TV.
Yeah. And I don't think Paramount Network is something you probably have to order, right? So it's not like I don't think that's like on like your basic cable package.
I don't know what they turn unless they turn some other channel into that. I have no idea because I have not had TV in years.
Right.
I'd have to look it up.
But that's huge. I think you're right to point that out, Tom. Just how many viewers that have.
If that's a cables channel, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a cable channel. That's like FX. I think Paramount Network is like FX. That's
like
huge.
The only thing you could compare that to would probably be like Game of Thrones and shit. But that's because that's even different because that's pay TV. Like people are paying to watch that, like through HBO,
Right.
So like they even get to cap. Like this is just at best we figured maybe Picard had 4 million viewers.
By the end?
No, at the beginning.
What was it? It was like in Canada. It was what, like 2 point something.
They started out with like I think around 2 million, and then by the end it was like I think 1 million, and that was it. I think it was under 1 million actually.
Yeah, I think it was like 800,000 or something like that. It was doing almost as bad as Batwoman in CW in Canada though. So who knows what it was doing on CW.
Well, you can kind of extrapolate and kind of figure like, but that's the thing is they'll never tell us the numbers on any of that shit. But go on here because I'm still curious if they ever mentioned Star Trek.
Yeah, but Picard did lose over 500,000 viewers, I think. In Canada.
I thought it lost half its viewers, but yeah, you could be either way. Yeah,
it was over 500,000. I think it was like 60%. It was more than half. Prior to the reorganization, I'm not the only one who messes up. prior to the reorganization, that's Saul McCarthy gained oversight of Paramount Network in 2019. Dude, I'm telling you, man, when you're writing this much, this is a long article. When you're writing this, you're going to make some mistakes.
Oh yeah,
But that's what an editor's job is supposed to catch.
Yeah,
that.
I will. I mean, when you're editing 20, or 20 is probably a lot, but when you're editing 10, 15 stories a day, you're probably going to miss a little bit.
it's true.
So
I can back that claim up.
I sympathize. I sympathize. Limited series Waco about the standoff between federal agents and the Branch Davidians was nominated for 3 Emmy Awards in 2018. I think that's actually on Netflix now.
I haven't even heard about that. I want to watch that.
Yeah, Waco's good.
Yeah, I think that's on Netflix now.
Heck yeah.
But original comedy American Woman was canceled after 1 season. Oh, surprise. I have no idea what that was about, but it sounds like it's super woke. Just with the title, I'm sorry.
You're right on the money.
The comedy Nobodies, which aired its first season on TV Land, began airing its second season on Paramount Network before moving back to TV Land and subsequently being canceled. The series reboot of the dark high school comedy film Heathers was set to air. I think that was pushed back multiple times in the wake of several mass shootings. The entire first season was finally aired over the course of 1 week in October 2018 with no second season planned.
Oh, God, I didn't even know that.
No mention of Star Trek.
Nope.
No mention of Star Trek.
None.
Wow, you're going to mention that last show and not Star Trek? That's telling.
And this is the last sentence. And as Variety exclusively reported in March, Pop TV is the latest network under the Viacom-CBS umbrella to largely end its scripted programming. I mean, it sounds so they're pretty much like ending it. Sounds like they're ending it across the board.
Yeah.
So even here, Viacom with other. So I guess they own CMT. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I guess I should have known because they kept promoting the MTV while I was watching Coal Miner's Daughter. They kept promoting all the MTV.
Yeah,
shows.
MTV, VH1s, and there's another one besides CMT too.
BET? Do they own BET?
No, BET is on its own.
Yeah, BET.
Okay.
Actually, that might be owned by Universal.
Okay. Other brands like MTV and CMT ceased producing scripted originals around that same time. So yeah, it looks like they're moving away from.
They're even talking about scripted television, yet they don't mention Star Trek. So he was Viacom months after being named CEO. Current Viacom announced that Spike would be rebranded. Okay, yeah. So Spike was Paramount Network. I used to love Spike because that used to be like a
Spike, dude.
That was like a male. It was a very male-oriented network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the shows were dumb, but I think that was the appeal.
Well, they also had all the. They would do like the Bond. They have the James Bond.
And they would always run Star Wars.
Yeah, I love the Bond marathons on there, man. But yeah, so that's really. Oh wait, there's more. I guess there was an ad break there. I thought it was the end.
Oh.
We've always been about new, now, and next. We want to stress that the real power is how the company plans to window their content in years to come. What I guess where they place it, window it. Like I'm thinking window shopping. Where you put it. Part of the windowing will be Paramount Plus, the Viacom CBS streaming service. Yeah, that's where they're.
Or they mean windows in time, like we said, like they'll show them on like MTV.
Right. Okay.
You know, but it'll be like a year after it's been on Paramount Plus already.
Right. I was thinking like Paramount Plus, and then they put it on their cable, or they sell it like they sold the Waco series to license it to Netflix.
Similar,
like
yeah,
that.
Basically the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, so that was
interesting.
I'm trying to get you with an Alexandra Daddario I had there. All right, so I thought that's really interesting. They're making huge changes. It sounds like they're doing a lot of different things that the other people are basically doing. They're basically, it sounds like they're going to be doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing, creating content and then licensing it to these other to like Netflix or Hulu, so they can so those companies can keep their like content farms going. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. They're definitely taking a different role in the streaming wars for sure. It looks like.
Definitely.
All right. Last segment. We're getting close to that midnight hour. So actually, let's read some comments here before we get into this. I see John Willis has been saying some stuff over here in the chat. He suggests, hadn't thought of that. DS9 is Kurtzman and JJ free, not a whiff of their hands all over it. Return to Deep Space Nine and rebuild the franchise spin-off shows. Maybe eventually revisit the original shows. They did that Deep Space Nine to the original series K7 crossover. Then it looks like he's correcting himself here. I mean, they did the perfect Return to Space Station K7 with Kirk, Scotty, and Spock. And I love Trials and Tribulations. That is how you could revisit the original Trek with respect. Unlike Enterprise, they had no canon problems. Yeah, but I think that could be interesting. I love Deep Space Nine. Hopefully, this upcoming Tuesday, we'll be able to get back to watching Deep Space Nine. My wife had a doctor's appointment this week, so wasn't able to get that going. But hopefully we'll be able to get back to that next week. I don't think there's anything planned for next Tuesday.
Yeah,
all right.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. I think we're on episode 12 or something like that? 11 or 12?
Yeah, we'll have to go back and revisit where we're at. But
yeah, I'll figure it out. All right, so let's get into this last topic. We got a Scarface rumor that Michael B. Jordan...
oh, God.
Black Panther actor and anti-police advocate Michael B. Jordan to play reimagined Tony Montana in a Scarface remake. This rumor comes from I think this is where I found the main source was. They're saying it's this Twitter account, All Love Hip Hop. No idea what kind of credibility that they have. They had enough credibility that Newsweek ran it.
Wow.
So Michael B. Jordan has reportedly been casted to play Tony Montana in the new Scarface remake. Newsweek reported that most recently Michael B. Jordan has been rumored to play the titular role. This, Tom, I'm sure you might know a little bit about this, but the Scarface reimagination has apparently been in the works since 2011, when David Ayer and Anton Fuqua were attached. Most recently, Deadline reported that Call Me By Your Name director Luca Guadagnino, probably butchered his name, was set to direct the reimagining back in May 2020. He will reportedly work off a script from Joel Cohen and Ethan Cohen, who Deadline claims have been on board the project for at least 3 years. So this is something that they seem to be wanting to really get off the ground, but haven't really been able to. I do think I do want to make it clear that the 1983, 1983 Scarface film that is iconic with Al Pacino playing Cuban gangster Tony Montana was actually a remake of a film called Scarface: The Shame of the Nation that was released in 1932 and took place in Chicago, not in Miami. So you already had kind of a change of setting. An update to the film where the 1932 film was largely based on Chicago crime during Prohibition with Capone, and then obviously in the 80s you have all the drug smuggling in Miami with the Colombians and everything like that, and that's what they used for the Scarface that is now iconic. So this one is supposed to be taking place in LA with Michael B. Jordan. So, I mean, I don't even know why you need to call it Scarface.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's plenty. You could just call it something else. Gangster movie. People like watching gangster and drug movies like that. So.
Yeah, like the fact that it's a remake makes me not care.
Yeah. So I will say, like, if you look. So I don't even want to, like, I know we call like the 83 film a remake, but like, I haven't seen
it's hardly a remake. Yeah, a remake in a sense, like you guys were just saying, like they use the title and the idea, but other than that, like it's so much different. Like obviously the original has nothing to do with cocaine. The new remake is loosely based on the Cuban what do you call it? Immigration of the late 70s or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that has its own thing. And like I've said before, like that movie has transcended its original, and there's a lot of rappers, there's a lot of Cuban Americans and Cubans who all that movie for what it represents, regardless of the fact that Al Pacino isn't remotely Cuban. They still that's a very important character to them. Doing this almost seems too on the nose.
Yeah.
I think you could do it something like so. I think it could work if you do something like Scarface, and then you have this subtitle. Like the first one was called Scarface, Shame of the Nation, and then obviously the '83 one just was Scarface. You could do something like Scarface : whatever you want to call it.
The Valley or something.
Or just not even Scarface. Come up with something else.
Yeah. I think you could come up with something else too. But I do think like if you wanted to franchise Scarface and kind of have
it's not a franchise though, really.
Make it like an anthology series.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking more along the lines where you're doing.
I guess
you're doing like different kinds of crime stories.
The thing is, you own the story. Everybody will know it's a remake. Like we've had a lot of remakes over time where they've had different names, and as long as you're not like copying the original story or the newer version, and you're doing like your own thing outside of it being just about a gangster on the rise, I just don't see the point. I mean, the '83 version is so ingrained,
right?
Like that's the problem we have, and I brought that up before too, is growing up in the video age, it was different than when you had to wait for a movie to get re-released in theaters or put on TV, and a lot of movies got lost to obscurity, like Scarface probably being one of those for the most part. I mean, it just I don't know. It's tough for me to see somebody I would say the same thing about The Fly though too, which is a similar situation.
When I was writing the story, I did find this poster really interesting. Godless,
cool
loveless, heartless, he fought his brutal way up to the pinnacle of power, only to be challenged by a
Speaking of HBO Max, I think the original's on HBO Max right now.
Oh, it is? I just thought this was funny. Only to be challenged by a frail woman. More thrilling drama than you ever saw, and more to think about. So if you haven't seen I haven't seen the original one, but I did do some research into it. Apparently, the frail woman that he's challenged by is his sister, who he bans from like going out to like party.
And that's pretty much like in the new movie too, newer movie.
Yeah, and she defies him, and it leads to his downfall because he's spreading over his sister. That it exposes him to like.
I guess it is more like the original film than I thought. I should watch that.
Yeah, I think the concepts are very similar. The Chicago.
But if you did that now, that would be weird.
Yeah, I mean, he even even here. So, Comanche's downfall might actually be. I didn't want to spoil it. I just Comanche's downfall might actually be due to the two women in Tony's life that include Johnny Lobo's girlfriend Poppy, who Tony is attracted to, and his willful younger sister Seska, who Tony forbids from going out in the town and dating men. So I think they combine the women characters. I think in the '83 one, right?
Yes.
I don't think he has a sister.
Yeah, he has a sister in the '83 one.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where they take it to that point where it gets a little weird. But you can also understand it at the same time. Like it's kind of a weird kind of like because he doesn't really know his sister that well, but then at the same time it's like he doesn't want her getting involved with men like him,
right?
Kind of thing.
Okay, I'll have to watch the '83 one. I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, I mean, but he does have. There is these moments where you can kind of get these creepy, like he is totally yeah, he's totally like whatever you want to call it for a sister.
I also like Howard Hughes' White Hot Thunderbolt. I mean, there's so many. There were a ton of these old posters.
Old posters are great.
Old marketing, yeah.
Let's see.
But think how iconic the Scarface poster of '83 is. There's only one, and it's iconic as fuck.
Like even this one. This one's not as good as the one below it, but this one's pretty good too. And it's got
I got a damn video to edit. Now I want to go watch this movie.
But yeah, so this one is definitely based off of Capone's life because it takes place in Chicago as well. Yeah, but I know John Willis here is joking. They can spice it up if they flip the genders. But no, I think you're right, Tom. I think they should just do their own crime movie where you can just have a guy rising to the top. It doesn't need to be called Scarface. The only reason why we use Scarface is if you're just trying to use the name to get people to go see your film.
Well, you kind of already had this story. Look at the NWA movie, Straight Outta Compton. That's kind of what it is. If you look at it and you can kind of put Eazy-E in that Scarface role. Like, he doesn't die from a result of his criminal ways, but he dies because of AIDS. But I mean, it's still kind of a cautionary tale at the same time.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're exactly. I never even thought about to look at it that way, but yeah, I think that's what's so interesting about Scarface too is that he does fall at the end. He loses. He achieves almost as much as he can, and then he comes crashing down so quickly.
Right.
You don't usually see a lot of films end like that, especially in today's day and age where it's like
Infinity War is probably the best example I can think of.
Yeah, like Empire Strikes Back. That was back in the 80s though. But
and like I said, even Straight Outta Compton, the way it's framed, I mean, in reality, it is. I mean, that's kind of the way Eazy-E was. He lived by the sword and kind of died by the sword in the same way. Even when he was a criminal for a while too. I mean, there's still that rumor that he killed that girl, and there's, it's in one of his songs and shit. So like, there's a lot of shit that he did that was probably pretty shady that they never even touched on.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. I think there's a lot of stuff.
But that's all you need to do is kind of just make an amalgamized character like that. You don't need to call it Scarface. Just call it something else. And just do your own thing. You could say, based upon the film Scarface, you can do that.
It's actually originally was a novel.
There you go. It's, and if you're going to do that, just readapt the novel. Don't do it. Like, I would have no problem with like a mini-series version of Jaws that was the novel, because it would be so different from the original film. But like, if you're going to remake Jaws, I will fucking lose it. You know what I mean?
They're talking about it. They're talking about it.
And Spielberg won't let it happen in his lifetime, most likely, because he talked himself out of redoing a bunch of his movies with CGI. That all ended with E.T. pretty quick.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys remember that incident.
Yeah, I'm glad that happened. I mean, they have kind of tried to do I think a good example is the Meg, right? That's just like a giant shark that's attacking.
Yeah, just do something like it. You don't have to do the same thing, because that's the problem. Is every movie that's been since Jaws is a ripoff of Jaws anyway. But no, this new Black this or Black that, whatever. Like we just saw it yesterday. They're talking about doing a Black Friends. It's like we already had Black Friends. It was called Living Single. It was before Friends.
Yeah, my wife was just watching that. Today.
Living Single was infinitely better than Friends. It had much better characters.
Like Queen Latifah's on that?
Yeah, right? Queen Latifah.
Yeah.
What's her face from Facts of Life who played Tootie, and I can't remember who the other girl is. But
there was it was actually really funny. One of the girls came in and was like engaged to the former and like an ex-boyfriend of one of the other girls, and they were just like getting in a fight, and it was hilarious.
Well, no, the whole setup's just like Friends, because you have the doofy friend, and you have the will they won't they couple, and you have all the same tropes as Friends. They just stole it pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I think even one of the guys is an actor, if I remember right, too.
I'm not sure.
It's been a while since I watched it, but I think the one dude is an actor too, if I'm not sure. I know the one guy's a plumber, but like I think the other guy's like a wannabe actor, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, no, like, and then the same thing I seen today, that one girl said she wanted to do a gender swapped version of Stand By Me. It's like, they already pretty much did that. It was called Then and Now.
No media was created before 2012.
And Stand By Me only works as it is because of what it is. It's about boys in a specific period of time.
It's to be about boys.
And again, somebody else pointed out, like, I think it was either Lorena or somebody like that in our circle, like, pointed out, like, that's not something that girls would normally naturally do. Like, boys, you want to go see a dead body? Oh, fuck yeah. Girls, no. That just right off the bat, that's not going to work. It just doesn't make any sense.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
You've never seen Stand By Me?
What?
Oh, it's a great fucking movie. Besides The Shawshank Redemption, it's hands down Stephen King's best adaptation ever. Like,
it's a horror film.
No. It's actually one of his
What if it's
more.
his more like lifey films?
Yeah, it's like Shawshank kind of movie. Like it's more about. What it's about is Will Wheaton. It's one of his first movies.
Yeah, I see River Phoenix, Kiefer
Yeah,
Sutherland,
he's
Jerry
the one
O'Connell, Corey
telling the
Feldman.
story from when he's an adult, but he's remembering back from when he was a kid, and it's a period.
They have done that, gender swap that.
That's what I said. Then and now, or whatever the hell it was called. And
Yeah.
too, yeah. And I think the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants could almost.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no, like, and then the basic story is the one kid. There's a kid that went missing a week before or whatever, a few days before, and one of the kid hears about because his older brother saw the body, but they won't tell anybody where the body is because they boosted a car. So the younger brother hears about it, goes and tells his buddies, and they're like, "You want to go find this dead body? Oh yeah, we'll be famous. We'll be on the papers and all this shit." And the whole movie's about the journey to see this body, and they kind of, learn who each other is and their place in life, and then grow up a little, and it's all about facing death. And the whole other thing is the one character that played by Will Wheaton, his brother's played by John Cusack, and he died before the movie starts taking place, but they flash back to him. And that's the thing, is everybody's like, why can't you be like your older brother kind of thing, so like he never really faced the death of his brother and all this other shit. So it's like, it's just a really poignant story mixed with some really
coming of age story. That's the term I'm looking for.
What is it?
Yeah.
Coming of age story.
Coming of age, yeah, but it also has some really funny moments and great cast. Directed by Rob Reiner.
Okay. Yeah, I just haven't watched that one. I think Sandra Bullock is in it. I think Sandra Bullock is in a female one too, where they like have the friends and then they flash back.
Is that Mystic Pizza one or whatever? Or are you talking about a newer one?
Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood.
Maybe that. Well, okay.
Isn't that part of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants?
I don't know.
No, it's different. It was a 2002 movie where So here's the synopsis on IMDb. After years of mother-daughter tension, receives a scrapbook detailing the wild adventures of the Yayas, her mother's girlhood friend. So it flashes back between the present and the past.
I mean, but you're actually having a first-person account from the old adult version of one of the kids.
Okay.
There's only a few things that change from the book. I don't want to give too much away because if you ever do watch it, it's a really good story. It's a really good movie.
Okay.
Definitely River Phoenix's best performance ever. Oh, Kiefer Sutherland's in it. River Phoenix is dead now.
Oh, he did. Okay,
yeah, that would have been Joaquin's older brother.
Right. Yeah, he died in '93. Okay, that was a long time ago. I was 6. Yeah. No.
I forget
5.
how.
I was 5. I was 5 in '93.
Drew is the only one here close to my age, so yeah.
Yeah, I remember when River Phoenix died.
Oh, that was fucked up, man.
Yep.
Oh, Johnny Depp's never been the same since.
Oh no, definitely not.
I think that's why he drinks so damn much.
Yeah, when your friend dies in your arm.
All right.
Not to go too dark. Yeah.
We're gonna wrap it up here. So we're gonna go around the horn. We'll start with you, Spencer.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. It's always great to see you guys every Wednesday. Thanks to Tom and Steve for joining us when he was around. You can find me on Twitter at KabutoWriterMav. You can see it right there on the stream. And you can catch me pretty much every day on Bounding Into Comics. And I believe Friday we're going to be doing a new anime review, John?
I don't think it comes out until October, but
okay.
We're planning on reviewing Noblesse. I don't know how to say it.
Noblesse or something?
It's Noblesse. It's French, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Noblesse.
Noblesse. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna be doing that one. I think it comes out the 6th or something like that. So yeah, we're looking at reviewing that one. So we'll probably I think that's in 2 weeks.
We won't miss it this time. Promise.
Yeah, because we missed out on Kibiate. We didn't realize when it was actually going to hit Crunchyroll. But yeah, we're going to be watching Noblesse and doing that. So look forward to that, and I think we'll be doing that live. So that should be a lot of fun. So watch along with us on Crunchyroll. Anything else?
Nope, that's it. Just check out everybody else's stuff and have a good rest of your Wednesday nights.
I do want to add. I think you got I think there's a pretty good One Piece story that you're working on, and then
Tomorrow.
I think you might also be working on. Well, actually, I think you might be working on 2 One Piece stories. So,
Yes.
yeah. So I'm really excited for both of those. We're gonna be doing like a Luffy, the 10 greatest Luffy fights, right? I think.
Yep, to follow up our Goku list.
Yeah. So that should be a lot of fun. Toxic Man Flu is praising that the show is coming to an end. I talk too much apparently. I can't tell if that's sarcasm or not. But all right, Drew, take it away.
Yeah, tomorrow check out the Pegasus Actual podcast. I've got a story I'm working on. Speaking of Battlestar, one of the Battlestar actors, Michael Hogan, that played Colonel Ty, he's having some difficulties, and they started to GoFundMe for him. He had like a freak accident and got hurt. So I'll be writing an article on that, and we'll finally have the next episode of Pegasus tomorrow. We did Roof Korean. No, you did not miss it last week. We didn't do one because that was that didn't happen. But yeah, I'll have the link to his GoFundMe and everything in my story, and that'll be up tomorrow. I'm going to write that. As far as I know, Pegasus will go on at the normal time tomorrow. I will keep the community apprised of what's going on with my mom, and I appreciate the love and support from everybody. And thanks for reaching out. This is really rough. And definitely, like I said, it's uncharted territory for me. So, I appreciate everybody having my back and supporting me because I'm kind of feeling lost at the moment. So, thank you.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep you in our prayers for sure.
100%. Yeah.
All right, Tom.
Yeah, I just want to hopefully everything goes good for you, Drew. I know you're dealing with a lot of shit right now, and all that stuff. And I just want to say congratulations once again to John, of course. And
thank you.
We did our best to hold the fort down while you were gone. I'm sure I blew something up, but
no, Tom was actually really good. The mounting lives that we did while you were,
okay, there was one little fire. One.
They went off without a hitch. Tom was an awesome guest as always.
But yeah, other than that, we got a Star Wars video, I think, coming up in the next day or so, and then I'm going to hit that Star Trek news. So hopefully you guys will be all caught up on what's going on there. Hopefully we'll have some answers by then. So we're still working on that. Other than that, so yeah. That's about it.
Great. We have a final question here from Philip A. Demick. I don't know how to say her name. Sorry. Anyone know what happened to the BSG actors who got caught in the NXIVM cult? I didn't know there were any BSG. I thought it was.
What's her face from Smallville, wasn't it?
There was.
They're facing like 20-some years in prison, aren't they?
Yeah, I think she went to prison. I think they found. I think she's going to prison too.
Now that Philip brings that up, there was actually one. I read it somewhere, and I can't remember where I read it. I think it was Nikki Klein that played Callie. Was the one that was caught in there, and I do believe like she was actually so like programmed, like she was coming out like in support of the cult leader, which was in there. Yeah, Stephen Ernest.
Callie.
Okay.
So I'm looking at Allison Mack's Wikipedia. It says she pled guilty to racketeering charges in April 2019 and is awaiting sentencing.
Oh, so she'll just get like 5-10 years probably.
Yeah. So
she was arrested for sex trafficking conspiracy, and forced labor conspiracy.
Yeah, I think.
So I don't know if that she's being if those are.
No, that means she did a plea deal. That means they probably didn't have enough to get her for the other shit, but they had enough for the racketeering and a few other things. So she probably made a plea deal, and they'll probably dump her sentence down to like 5-10 years.
Phil, are you serious? Grace Park? No way, bro.
Wow. And then like the main guy though, he'll probably end up facing all the other
Oh,
charges.
yeah. The main guy is done for. Wow. Grace Park.
Whoa,
And that's what I mean is she probably flipped on the main dude. So like that's what they'll do is all these sub-level people will flip on the main dude and then like
That's what it looks like.
Like the mafia.
That's what it looks like. Wikipedia is saying. It says here, on April 8, 2019, Mack pleaded guilty to racketeering conspiracy and racketeering charges and was scheduled for sentencing in September 2019. It says here it was revealed in court in March 2019 that Mack and the other defendants in the case were, quote, in active plea negotiations.
Yep.
So yeah. I wasn't sure if I definitely thought that was a possibility, but I wasn't sure if they had her on like multiple charges.
They might get out of jail sentences altogether then.
Sometimes they have those like multiple cases that they do against them. So I wasn't sure if there was like if that was.
I see it like I said. It's kind of like the mafia. It's like where if you're like a lower level guy, even though you've done some pretty shitty shit, you can usually get out of a lot of trouble by flipping on the bigger guys. And if you get enough guys who match up with your story, then that helps your case.
Oh wow, yeah. It was this was
Grace Park left the cult in 2017.
Yeah, Grace Park. Grace Park was at one time in there. Kristen Crook from Smallville. Oh God, she was hot. And Nikki Klein from Battlestar that played Callie. Yeah, they were all involved. I don't think they were heavily involved. I think they were members of the organization.
Yeah, it says here that Grace left as soon as that New York Times expose came out in 2017 about it.
Yeah,
so she might not have been like as involved as Mac was, who was like literally living with the guy in Mexico or whatever when they arrested him.
As far as Nikki Klein, though, Stephen Ernest mentioned that she was involved in those articles. Mentioned that, I did read something somewhere where Nikki Klein was actually kind of like still, I don't know, she's brainwashed, whatever, but she was like somehow sticking up for the leader guy and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
Philip is saying watch the HBO series The Vow. That looks like it's a true crime documentary about the cult. So it says it's a 9-part series. It premiered like just in August of this year.
Yeah. Oh, Ruth Korean, Trisha Helfer, and Katie Sackhoff are pretty grounded. They're not stupid like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, we are going to end the show tonight. So thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it. I think there was a question about, I think John Wells said Trek Tuesdays. We're going to try and get to that next week. Wasn't able to get to it this week because my wife had an appointment. But hopefully we'll be back on that. And I think it's like we're on like episode 11, 12, or 13 for Deep Space Nine. So look forward to those reviews and discussions on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. And we will be back again for Bounding Live every Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. So thank you all for joining us, and we hope you have a great week. And we will see you next week. Have a great one.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Take it easy.